receiver, though. So instead of throwing the ball,
hello, everyone. We are live. This is an Oregon USC watch party, but it can also be, oh, what's up? We got Rican Raider in the chat. Love that. What's up, Rican? How you doing, man? How you feeling today? Are you excited about this Michigan game coming up? Curious about that. So we'll just be hanging out, watching the USC Oregon game, talking about it. Obviously, the winner of this game, you know, there are playoff implications. Absolutely. So I'm pumped. You know, if Oregon wins, they're in the playoff for sure. If USC wins, they are likely in as long as they beat UCLA, which I would imagine they probably would. So we're going to talk that, and we're going to talk about kind of everything else college football. So please, you know, hop in the chat, let me know, and, you know, let me know what's up and what you're thinking about and how you're feeling about college football on this day. Here come the teams out of the tunnel. Senior day for the Oregon Ducks in Autzen. Got a duck on a motorcycle. Interesting. No, duck. Yep. Yeah, duck on a motorcycle. So Oregon knows how to have a good time. You know, I appreciate that. Have your mascot doing cool stuff always. Have to have a good mascot entrance. That's important.
sufficiently geared up in Eugene.
Oh. All right. Carter Sieben, 5K, sickening loss. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I normally would be ranting just incoherently by this point about it, but you're up 28-13 in the third quarter. Your offense is moving the ball. You're cruising. It's 4th and 5 from the 32. And instead of going for it, PJ decides to attempt a kick that's way out of our kicker's range. Way out of his range. I mean, that was an unbelievably bad mistake. Corey C in the chat. Have to fire Collins, no excuse. Hey, look, man, here's what I'll say. I don't know if you have to fire him off of the staff, but you absolutely have to fire him as defensive coordinator. His time, PJ needs to sit him down and say, you are no longer going to be the defensive coordinator for the University of Minnesota. We're happy to have you as safeties coach. He's a great safeties coach, great recruiter, great developer of talent, program guy. But I have never seen, not since Tim Brewster was our coach, have I seen as many blown coverages as I've seen this season. I mean, the amount of blown coverages not where guys get beat. Guys get beat. That happens sometimes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about coverages where no one is covering anybody at all. I think about when the running back scored on that pass for them. And he was just, nobody picked him up. Nobody at all. It was just ridiculous. And I don't even know what to say about it. I'm really upset. Robert Holbrook, tough way to lose. Yeah, I mean it's brutal, man. I'm really upset. I'm really upset. I'm ready to rant about it. Anybody wants to talk about that? Like, yes, we're gonna talk USC Oregon. That game's kicking off here. I'm pumped about it. But yeah, we can talk about the Minnesota game because I'm apoplectic. I mean, they had that game. They had control of that game. It was 28-13, driving in for the score to stick a fork in them. And PJ sent out his kicker to make a nearly 50-yard kick that he knows empirically his kicker cannot make. Cannot make it. Ashton says, I'm fine with safeties coach too, but the DC title got to go. Yeah, no, I'm with you. He cannot be the defensive coordinator anymore unless he's the co-defensive coordinator, but he's not in charge kind of thing. You know what I mean? To save his ego and to like keep his paycheck or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. But it's going to take a new defensive coordinator who knows what they're doing because Danny Collins has proved inept. Like I said, I mean, the amount of guys who have run through the secondary this year against Minnesota uncovered is unacceptable. And you look at the Gophers have been a top 10 or top 25 defense. Like I think 5 of the last 7 years, several years in a row, like 21 or yeah, it's to have that fall off this year from where we were even last year. And I think it's mostly coaching. It's mostly coaching. Like, yes, we lost Justin Wally. Yes, that hurt. I'm not saying the defense would have been quite as good and whatever, but it wasn't. I really think that the coaching is the biggest issue. And I think this defense is being, coming out to look worse than it should be based on the sum of its parts is how I feel about it. All right. We got USC out. They got the ball first and 10. It's going to be interesting to see. I've got Oregon winning this game. Curious what everybody else has in this one. I had Oregon winning. I just think that overall they're going to be too tough up front. And yeah, rolling out, Maava throws it away. Heavy pressure right away from this Oregon defensive line. And this is a great Oregon defensive line. But I am really mad at Danny Collins. Danny Collins does need to go. Like, he is the issue. But I cannot overstate how much it hurt the Gophers when they were up 28-13 not to just go for it on 4th and 5. Because you're carving up Northwestern. You're marching right down the field. Just go for it. If you score a touchdown there, you go up 3 touchdowns. The odds of them coming all the way back are not great. So that was an inexcusably conservative call from PJ. John Q says Oregon should win decisively. Yeah, that's kind of my feeling as well, John. I think it'll be close for a while because Makai Lemon and, the USC receivers are special. But I think ultimately, oh, wow, what a play. Speaking of, man, speak of the devil. Oh, this was Jacoby Lane, but still. Jacoby Lane, Makai Lemon, Lake McCree, all those guys. All of them. Or is Makai Lemon 8? I forget. I always forget the USC numbers. But they do kind of jump off the screen with how athletic both Lemon and Lane are in the plays they make. Wow, King Miller, nice one-handed play. Didn't expect that. All right, in the chat, Nittany Nation, Mish. I feel bad for Minnesota. They haven't gotten any close game magic lately. Oh man, it's been rough, dude. It's been rough. It's been a season that just has not materialized in the way that I think it probably should have. I think if you have, and I am with the chat. Yeah, it was Lane. It was Jacoby Lane who had that first one. Yeah. Makai Lemon's great too, though, Regan. I'm with you. Yeah, sorry, you can tell me what happens. It's my TV. Every once in a while, it will just X out as I'm watching something. So that just happened with the Oregon USC game, but I will have it back up in a second. But yeah, I think USC's got to get out to a big start early, and they gotta force some things and get some things done, and score some points early on, because I think when Oregon gets a hold of this game, they're gonna be tough to deal with. Nittany Nation, I had Minnesota going 10-2. Last year they went 8-4 with a lot of bad luck, and they retained a lot of guys. I know. And I had them going 8-4. So I had them the difference is I had them beating Northwestern today. That's the difference. And I'm shocked. Like, Northwestern, give them credit. They're a well-coached team. They play hard, all that kind of stuff. But there's no excuse to allow that much offense. And again, to have so much defensive confusion. That's what I come back to. I come back to the defensive confusion and the guys out of position, filling the wrong lanes, making the wrong reads, covering the wrong people. Rican, Northwestern might actually be good, to be honest. I mean, yeah, they're not. Northwestern's a decent team. I just, we made Preston Stone is a very average to below average QB, and Minnesota made him look like a superstar. And that's brutal. It's brutal to play that poorly against Preston Stone. I don't understand it. The whole game I was like, bracket Griffin Wilde. It's always Griffin Wilde. He's the guy they want to go to over and over. Just bracket him on big downs, and they just wouldn't do it. Like, Danny Collins kept stubbornly playing man against him, and I'm just like, at a certain point, give him the top receiver treatment and bracket him a little bit and try to limit what he can do, at least on second and third and long. Not all the time, maybe, but at least that. Oh, Jacoby Lane, another nice catch. Evil Badger says the axe is coming back to Madison. No, it's not evil. I mean, maybe someday under a different coach who's not Luke Fickell, but no, not. Wisconsin doesn't score enough points. Wisconsin scores a maximum of 13 points a game. So if you can score more than 13 points, you're going to beat Wisconsin. And Minnesota can score more than 13 points. So they're going to beat Wisconsin. Rican says Minnesota is going to drill Wisconsin. Yeah, I was more confident in that, Rican, before today's result against Northwestern than after. But I do think there's a chance that Minnesota takes out their frustration on Wisconsin a little bit. Yeah. Wisconsin over under 70 passing yards. Against Illinois, under. I'd say under. There's nothing they've shown me that they can throw the ball at all. So I don't think they're gonna. This is a big drive for USC. They've taken up like 5 minutes, taken some momentum. If they can get in the end zone here, that would be a big deal on the road in a game with so much on the line, with a playoff spot on the line like we got right here. All right, going to be third and medium. Gotta love third and medium. Could do anything. Could run the ball, could throw it, could run a trick play. Who knows? Nittany Nation Mish, I'm genuinely confused on who Wisconsin QB is. Well, yeah, it's because it was Danio. We'll go the Wisconsin thing. We'll go. So it started out as Billy Edwards, then he got hurt. Then it was Danny O'Neal, then he got benched. Then it was Hunter Simmons, then he got benched. Now it's Carter Smith, who was outgained yardage-wise by their punter passing in his last start. So, yeah, that's how I feel about Wisconsin's passing game. 3rd and 4. Oh, got it to him. Oh, touchdown SC. Wow, SC sending a message. 5-minute touchdown drive to start the game. Caught Oregon with their pants down a little bit. Impressive. Yeah, Mekhi Lemon is so special. I mean, he's just, after Jeremiah Smith is the best wide receiver in America, but after Jeremiah Smith, I will take Mekhi Lemon over anybody else in the country. Like, straight up. Robert, let's see. I missed this one earlier. I have Oregon, but I'd rather see USC win as an Indiana fan. I do not want to play Oregon in the college football playoff, even though I still think we could beat them. Yeah, I get it. You don't want to play a team a second time because then you're worried they figured something out about you that they can take advantage of it, and the second game can be different than the first game. Yeah, you don't want to have to play, and not in football. This isn't basketball where it kind of doesn't matter. In football, you don't want to play a team a second time if you don't have to. Oregon, Nittany Nation Mish. Oregon hasn't beaten one currently ranked team all year, which is kind of sketchy. I don't know, man. I feel like the Big Ten teams are underranked, so Oregon probably. Sometimes look, when we have 18-team conferences, you're not going to play all the best teams every year. That's just not going to be the way it is. It's not the way it was when we had 10 or 11 teams in the Big Ten. That's just not what we have. Like, I hate that too, but I don't think you can punish Oregon because they happen to have played teams that are bowl teams, but who aren't ranked. I think we'll find out a lot today for Oregon against USC and vice versa. And I think that's fine. I think both teams have done what they needed to do to this point in the season to be in this. Man, I don't know why anyone puts Eli Manning in commercials. Like, Peyton Manning, I get it. He can kind of sell it and be like somewhat charismatic, but Eli has like the personality of like cardboard. I don't understand it. All right. Let's see. I feel like it's kind of, it's obviously it's just the first drive, but after USC was so emphatic, it kind of seems important that Oregon come out and do something right away. Robert in the chat, those Jersey Mike's commercials with Eli are creepy, especially the one they just showed. Yeah, I don't like it either. Having him dressed up like Danny DeVito, like it doesn't do anything for me. Rican says they make a good sandwich though. Yeah, Rican, that's fair. Although I heard that since they got bought out by had some private equity stuff happen, that they don't give you as much meat anymore. But I haven't been there myself, so I have not confirmed that. But that's what I heard. So let me know if you think it's still legit or not. Robert says I'm ahead of you guys. That's all right. You won't. You can put it in the chat. I'm sure we'll get caught up. I can't imagine we're that far behind. But it is always weird when you're on a feed that's like it's like you can't talk to someone on the phone when they're on a feed that's going a little faster than you, because then you're finding out what happens before you see it. And that's not that fun. It's not that cool at all. Rican, SEC playing FCS schools in November. Oh, yeah. There's nothing more ridiculous than when everyone else is playing do or die high stakes conference games like the one that Oregon and USC are playing right now. The SEC teams are playing an FCS team, a scrimmage, so that they can have an extra bye week snuck into the season disguised as a win. Because that's what it is. It's a bye week disguised as a win. Oh, Oregon right through the middle of the defense. Nice. Needed that. That was impressive. Dante Moore has been so accurate of late. I mean, for him to go 27 of 30 last week and now to just come out, it looks like slinging again, is impressive stuff. Wow. Impressive for Oregon to come out throwing so successfully to wide receivers, even with their top wide receivers out. That shows a lot of confidence in their depth, which guys like to see on the team, right? Like they want to see that the coach believes in the guy who's behind the starters. That gets people, going. Rican, USC allergic to tackling. Yeah, man, that's where I'm skeptical. I just don't know if USC can hold up and for 4 quarters and be able to tackle and be physical enough up front with Oregon. But I also thought Minnesota was going to win today, so what do I know? What do I know? Oh, Michigan, Maryland starting. Maryland with a 25-yard run right out of the gate. Interesting. Mike Locksley will scheme up a good drive, like a good scripted opening drive. He is good at that. There's no question about it. All right, Oregon, let's see what you got. Ooh, nice. Sneaky misdirection run play. Touchdown. Oh, that was great. The quarterback faked one way and then reverse pivoted and gave it to the running back going the other direction against the grain. Love that. Love that. Beautiful play. 10 out of 10. Awesome. Ducks just doing it. Davidson. Yeah, he's been really good. It's crazy the depth at the skill position players that Oregon has at like running back and wide receiver. They are getting to be Ohio State-esque in that kind of skill position speed and depth of speed and talent. It's pretty impressive. Davison is what I meant, not Davidson. I think I said that wrong. Ooh, Michigan offsides. Free play. Maryland going deep. Caught it. Nice. Maryland doing things early on. See if they can sustain that. Nittany Nation says USC MLB middle linebacker is tall as heck. Yeah, he is rangy. No, that's a good pull. It's always funny when you see guys who are like, were you a basketball player who just found his way onto a football team once he realized that was a better option and a better sport? Yeah, I said it. I said football is a better sport than basketball. And I will fight that fight. I feel strongly about it. Basketball's great. It's a lot of fun. Football is the greatest sport American football is the greatest sport on God's green earth, period. The nuance, the highs and lows, you saw in the Minnesota Northwestern game, the back and forth nature of it. There's nothing like the variability of what can happen, what different teams can do with it. Wow, trick play for Maryland. First and goal, Terps. Wide receiver reverse. Nice. Well done. Oh, no, it was Washington. They gave it back to the quarterback. That was just, okay, sneaky. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, so I wasn't sure. All right, we are back with Oregon. Hey, everybody, I've got to use the facilities really quickly. I will be back in like 2 minutes. I will just leave it, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Sorry about that. Had to attend to something really quickly. But we got a good game so far. It will be interesting to see if USC can keep it up or if the Oregon defensive line eventually starts to get home and really harass Jaden Mayava and make it harder for him to operate. Because that's kind of what I think is going to happen eventually in this one. USC player down right now. Hopefully he's okay. Looks like an offensive lineman, 67. Gotta love the Christmas movie commercials. Who's ready for the holiday season? I know I am, especially now that the Gophers have crushed my hopes and dreams for the rest of the college football season. So, yes, I will watch the Axe game and the bowl game, and I hope we win both. But man, that was a really deflating loss today. That was, I mean, that one's going to sting for a while, for the foreseeable future. Nittany Nation, I wonder if Oregon makes the playoffs at 10-2. I don't think so. I don't think their schedule is strong enough. You know who else whose schedule isn't strong enough to make the playoff at 10-2? Notre Dame. But they're going to make the playoff regardless. You know they are. All right, 1 second here. All right, let's check in on the other Big Ten game. I'm not watching it, but we've got Iowa Sparty 0-0 deep in the first quarter. Interesting. So Iowa coming out a little flat after a couple tough losses in a row. You know, in games, let's be real. Iowa I'm not going to say that Iowa should have beaten either or should have beaten both USC and Oregon, but they should have found a way to win one of those games. They should have. So between that and the Iowa State loss, those are tough ones to swallow for an Iowa team that I think is really talented and is probably playing a little hungover right now against a Sparty team desperate for a win of any kind. Rock and Rant, friend of the pod. Everyone should check out College Football Express for all national stuff, and especially with like a ACC, you know, a Miami, or I guess a Miami focus, more I should say. He is great friend of the pod, and also he does awesome stuff. So Rock, yeah, everyone check his stuff out. I will link in the chat here at some point. Says, I think if Oregon were to lose this game, they will fall out of the top 12. The average team who has lost and that has been ranked high has fallen between 5 and 8 spots. Yeah, Rock, I think you're exactly right. I think you're right. I think if Oregon loses this game, they're out. And so it's a desperation thing. And it's interesting to see, you know, in must-win, gotta-have-it games, Dan Lanning has a bit of a mixed record. You know, he's won some of them for sure, but he's lost several of them too. So it'll be interesting to see how he shows up in a game that needs to be on here. And Rock, let me know either on Twitter or here if you wanna come on and stump. Love to hear your take on the playoffs. If you want to hop on and talk at all, you know, let me know. All right, Nittany Nation. Notre Dame will probably host a first round game, which is nuts. Yeah. I mean, it is nuts because Notre Dame, I mean, they lost to Miami. How can we forget that? We all saw them do it. We all saw. Notre Dame played 2 tough games this year. They lost them both. And we saw them lose head-to-head against the Canes. We saw it happen. So if that doesn't matter, if head-to-head doesn't matter, then it's not a playoff. That's the thing. It's not a playoff. It's an invitational. It's an invitational, and they invite the brands and the teams that they want to invite. Because it's not a direct playoff. There aren't automatic qualifiers. And that's why we get this nonsense. And Notre Dame is going to get ushered into the playoff on the strength of a schedule that, you know, where they don't deserve to be in because they didn't play as tough a slate as anybody in the major leagues did. They just haven't. Nittany Nation. Yeah, I guess Oregon would end up being the first team out. Yeah, I'm with all of you. I think Oregon, if they lose, this is out. That's why it's such a big game. That's why this is so fun. I wanted to do this because if Oregon wins, game on. And if USC wins, they're probably in as well. Because I can't imagine that USC is going to win this and then, you know, trip over their collective dicks against UCLA. I just don't think that'll happen in the Battle of Los Angeles. Michigan breaks off a long run. You know, Jordan Marshall for Michigan, I can't talk about him enough. He's been such a revelation for them with Justice Haynes hurt. He's been fantastic. You got to give him a lot of credit for coming through and just being a powerful quicker than you think he is kind of running back, you know? Rican Raider says Notre Dame ? Yeah, we're talking about Notre Dame. They're terrible. And I think they're going to end up in the playoff, even though they probably shouldn't. All right, Michigan down 7-0 to the Terps, but in the red zone now, but they get stuffed there on that run. Ohio State with a monster win again today. The Buckeyes just cannot be stopped. They are a juggernaut. They are on pace for an epic Big Ten title game. I mean, just think, I was thinking the last time I can remember a Big Ten game this late in the year to decide everything that was number 1 versus number 2, like Minnesota versus Indiana is going to be. Or not Minnesota. Wow. Wish casting Minnesota versus Indiana. That is not happening. Ohio State versus Indiana. Excuse me. Man, that's funny. You saw my psyche just come out of my head and like what I was hoping for versus reality. But no, Ohio State and Indiana. And the last time I think was like 2006 when Ohio State was number 1 and Michigan was number 2 and they played and Ohio State won the game 56-53. And that was, you know, considered the game of the century at that point. Rican says that's the backup, bro, not Marshall. Oh, I missed it. Okay, I thought I saw Marshall on the one run, but I mean, I thought I saw his name on his jersey, but I'm sure I got him wrong on another one, so that's my bad. I apologize for that. Thank you for the correction. Oh, Dante Moore with the check down, and he's late on it. Ooh, big third down now for the Ducks. Nittany Nation, I don't get how Oregon or how Notre Dame is not obligated to join a conference. I mean, it comes down to Nittany. It comes down to the fact that they're a big enough brand that they swing their weight around and everyone kowtows to them because of it. And so they get to play a Mickey Mouse schedule with a bunch of group of 5 teams and a bunch of terrible ACC teams and call it legit. Like it's the same as playing in the Big Ten or the SEC or even the Big 12. And it's just not. It's not at all. Oregon, nice play. Sneaky crossing route there. Got him on the out route. That's how you do it. Rican, because they're independent scared. Yeah, they are scared. Rican, because they know what would happen in the conference. They would, if Notre Dame joined the Big Ten, they would immediately be like they would not be the most important team. And they can't abide that. They cannot live in the shadow of Ohio State and Michigan. They won't do it. They're unwilling to do that. And they know they would. They know that's where they'd be living, is in that shadow. So as long as they're independent, they can have the illusion that that they're on the same level. Nittany Nation, I got OSU beating IU 24-21. Low scoring. I think there'll be more points than that. I think both those teams can score points. I think they're going to do it. I know Ohio State's been playing at kind of a slow pace for most of the year, but I think in the big games, they're going to come out ready to go nuclear. Evil Badger says Wisconsin will shock college football with an upset versus Illinois and Burt. Well, I guess we'll see, Evil. If they do, that will shock college football. And I will say they're only a 7.5-point underdog, so it's possible. I'm not betting on it, but it's possible. Oregon getting into USC territory now, mixing it up. Not much up the middle there, but Oregon's. I like the pace of this game for Oregon a little bit, and I think Oregon's going to lean on USC, and those running plays are going to add up over the course of the game. Oregon player down. He's an important one too. So that's hopefully he's okay. I got a buddy texting me. I stepped away at 28-13. What happened to Minnesota? Well, PJ, I'll tell you what happened. PJ had 4th and 5 from the 32. And instead of going for it with a quarterback who is dominating and marching down the field at will, he decided to kick a nearly 50-yard field goal try with a kicker who can't make a kick outside of 40 yards. And after that, Northwestern went down and scored and took back momentum, and Minnesota was playing kind of on their heels the rest of the game. Oh, man. All right, Oregon, 2nd and 7. I think this is a big drive. If Oregon scores here, I think they feel pretty good. They're in control of this game. Yeah, USC came down and scored the first touchdown, but if Oregon can go up, and they also get the ball after half. I mean, I know it's only the first quarter, but like they would be, when you think about how many possessions each team's going to get going forward, I think Oregon puts itself in a really good position if they can score a touchdown here, which is probably why Dan Lanning just took a timeout, because he knows how important this is. Rican says USC has to have Rican Raider says USC has to have higher pace. They can't block for a long time. I agree. I mean, they're not going to match up toe-to-toe with Oregon on the line of scrimmage. They have to get their playmakers the ball in space and let them make plays and hope they can do that throughout the game. That has to be the plan for USC if they're going to keep pace with Oregon. Gotta love Gary Danielson when he gets out the marker. Now, I'm not using much noise because I don't want the feedback, because I figure if you're watching the game with sound on, you don't want to hear the sound coming from my, setup. So I'm not listening to him, but I think he's retiring after this year, isn't he, Danielson? He's very good at the X's and O's part of it. He's not perfect at everything else, but he's really good at the X's and O's aspect of it, and I appreciate that about him. I will miss that about him when he is retired. That is for sure. I am just putting the word out. Oh, Oregon up the middle. Oh, big run. Big run on 2nd and 10. That's the thing. Oregon now it's already, it's the first quarter, and they're already starting to gash USC a little bit up, on the ground. Push them around a little bit up front. You can see the physicality from this Oregon offensive line. It's really impressive. Yeah. All right. 1st and goal for the Ducks. Ducks come out with 2-back formation. Oh, fake the run and go for the pass. Ends out touchdown. Yeah, Kenyon Sadiq. What a baller he is. I mean, he's really impressive. There was the play against Minnesota last week when Dante Moore overthrew him, and he just laid out and extended his whole body and pulled it in and controlled it. It was really impressive. And this was, he just creates separate. He's like a wide receiver in a tight end's body. I mean, it's kind of not fair to be that big and that fluid of an athlete. Like, what a rock star he is. Evil Badger says Keith Jackson was the GOAT. Yeah, Keith Jackson was the greatest of all time, man. Keith Jackson, much love for him. He was whoa Nelly, like the greatest college football commentator ever, for sure. I mean, listening to him do the Rose Bowl, like as a kid growing up, like those are really fond memories for me. And like someday, like in the long off season, like, we should have a Keith Jackson appreciation party sometime. Maybe we will on the pod. Maybe I'll queue up like a really good old school Rose Bowl, like during the long off season in like February when there's nothing to do and sports are terrible. And all you have is college basketball and the NBA, which, let's be real. The NBA is rigged and college basketball is not what it used to be entertainment wise. So during the long offseason, we should do an old school Rose Bowl. That'd be fun. I would love that. Get some Keith Jackson in my life. That was big for Oregon. Really impressive. This Oregon's going to be a team that nobody wants to play in the playoff if they pull it out today. And I picked them to, so I'm going to assume they do until USC gives me a reason to assume they won't. I just think Oregon's going to be a lot to handle for anybody in the playoff. Dress up like him, says Rican. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they sell suits like that anymore, Rican. Maybe they do. Maybe like a vintage suit of that. I don't know. I'd have to go back. And I always thought about his voice and his face more than his wardrobe. So I don't know. Like, I don't even know what would be an iconic like Keith Jackson ensemble, I'm not opposed to it as an idea. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I just am not sure how I would pay tribute to him in a way that was recognizable. USC struggling to run the ball, which could be not a great sign against Oregon. You got to be able to hang with the Ducks, and it helps if you can also run the ball since they're going to be able to run the ball. Oh, baller. Big throw downfield. Jaden Mayava, man. Wow. Impressive stuff. I mean, what a throw by Mayava. What a throw. Oh, and then they ruin it with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. USC, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's going to be hard to beat Oregon. You can't beat yourself with random random 15-yard penalties. That's not going to do anything for you. Come on. Come on, Trojans. Be smarter. So I think what I'm going to do with this live stream is we're going to do it the whole time the game's on, and I will probably pause it, or, I mean, it'll just be kind of going. I will pause it, or I'll put something up. For halftime. And then I'll be just out of here for the half. Just so I get a little bit of a break in between these, big thing. And then I'll be back. All right. Pass interference on Oregon. Doing USC a favor, bailing them out, giving it right back, giving those yards right back. Not smart. Yeah, you put both hands on a guy, even if he holds you back. They're going to call it on you if you're the defensive back. Yeah, man. That's something that's going to happen. Got to be a little smarter than that. Maryland with a bad drop there on what could have been a big interception. Yikes. Need those. Going to need those against Michigan if you're going to have a chance. I do believe that. Rican, how do you think I'm curious about everybody. How do you think Michigan is going to do you think Michigan has a decent chance to once again beat the Buckeyes, or is this the year when Ohio State when Ohio State finally catches up with Michigan and just beats them with skill? Rican says he doesn't like the Oregon unis. Yeah, I don't like them either. Wear deep green, Oregon. What happened to the days of wearing deep green and yellow? Like those are nice. Those are good colors. I don't know why you got to wear the different shades of nonsense all the time that aren't even really kind of your colors half the time. All right, let's drop in on Iowa, Michigan State. All right, 7-0 Iowa. Interesting. With Iowa about to punt from midfield, and that's what they like to do. Iowa likes to punt from midfield, pin you inside your own 10, and then make you pay for it. That's how they play the field position game and get you. Nice play by Bryce Underwood on 3rd and floor for Michigan, avoiding the rush and getting out to his check down. It's a really good play by Bryce. You know, I was kind of surprised Michigan was only a 13.5-point favorite against Maryland this week, but right now it looks like it's been pretty evenly matched so far, at least. So good for Maryland for hanging tough early in this game. It'll be a question though if they can hold up and stop the run at all. They're going to have to do that if Maryland's not going to have to stop it all the time, but they're going to have to be drives when they stop the run if they're going to get stops against Michigan. Honestly, Michigan probably shouldn't throw the ball even as much as they do. I know they don't throw it a ton, but like they should probably be running it. Their running game's so efficient. They should probably be running at service academy levels, especially because Bryce is still a freshman. And he still makes a fair amount of freshman mistakes like he did last week in that game, and it almost cost them. But then he also does stuff like that when he throws it downfield and looks great. See what Dan Lanning says in his interview. Dan Lanning says they got to calm down and play with great technique on the shots over the top. Yeah, that sounds right, Dan. Sounds right. Oh, it's a double pass. It's a double pass for USC. Is it going to work? Touchdown. Amazing. What a play. Lincoln Riley goes deep into his bag. Gets a double pass touchdown. Amazing catch. What a play. I sometimes get on Lincoln Riley for running too many trick plays. Well, you know what? When the trick play works, you get your flowers. And that was unbelievable. And an amazing catch. Unreal catch for USC. I mean, how do you, to have a guy wrapped around you, to go up and high point it, to bring it in, to control it, to get your feet down. I mean, what an unbelievable play. Just absolutely incredible play by who is that? Tanook Hines? Yeah, because Mekhi Lemon's 6. Yep, Tanook Hines. That's a fun name. Tanook Hines. That's a good football name. Good football name. Good work. The all-name team candidate. Tanook Hines. That's fun. Well, great catch. Great catch from Hines. I mean, that's how you high point it. You can't do it any better than that. Sounds like an Iditarod sled guy, says Reekin Raider. Yeah, that is funny. It does sound like someone who would lit from like a Jack Frost short story to Nook Hines. And he's like the guy in charge of like adjudicating the sled dog race. It's like up to him. He's running it or something. Something like that. Yeah, I could see it. Bryce Underwood, big, nice crossing route. A bullet across the middle. Impressive stuff. People need to stop hurdling. Michigan player just hurled a guy and he got away with it, but like, just make a move, make a jump cut, stiff arm, spin off him. Like when you hurdle it, like, yeah, it looks cool, but you aren't running any further than that. Like as soon as you hurdle the guy, as soon as you hit the ground, you're going down, probably. So I just think hurdling is such an overused move in football. Like, don't hurdle a guy. Like, get low, make a move, spin off him, use your shoulder, stiff arm him, something, jump cut, something, so that you can keep your balance and you can keep running through the hurdle instead of doing the hurdle. You can keep running through the contact. I don't understand when guys do that. I think it's stupid. And a good throw, when you have a wide receiver make a throw like that, like he put it where it had to be for the wide receiver to the other wide receiver to make a play on it. Like that was really, it's really a nice throw. Impressive stuff. Oh, Oregon going downfield right back, and it's complete. Nice. Oregon not wasting any time, saying we're going to throw it 20 yards right at you. We're not playing around. Dante Moore, 9 for 12, 119 yards so far. Not too shabby. Robert says Lynn's defense is awful. Remember, people said he was a great hire when they poached him from UCLA. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been as successful as you would expect for a guy who is as high a profile hire as he was. I mean, there have been several times against, like, you know, starting this game, obviously against Illinois, where USC has kind of been unready and not, you know, able to limit teams from doing a lot. So yeah, I think it's fair to criticize him. He had a really good year last year defensively, and this year there have been some mixed returns. I think overall they're better than they were without him, for sure, but he's not infallible or anything. Yeah, Rican Raider says nothing can be as bad as Alex Grinch, and that's it, right? Like, he's obviously like way better than what they had with Grinch and what they had, you know, before. So Lynn, you know, he's still, I think it's to be determined what, you know, he looks like in the coming years. We'll see what how his defenses trend. And my TV once again did the thing where it cut away. Oh, I hate when that happens. It's so frustrating. Okay, let me know in the chat what happened on that. I know that was a big down. Let me know what happened. I got to click it back on quick. It's always advertising stuff to you when you're trying to go through and just get to YouTube TV. And what I don't watch a lot of television, but what I take from it is that there's a lot of cop shows, huh? Just a lot of them these days. Seems like they are advertising cop shows all the time. Michigan really needs a touchdown this drive. It's been a good drive. They got to finish in the end zone. 1st and goal right now. Rican Raider, can someone explain why Mike Norvell still has a job? I don't know, man. I thought Florida State was going to do the obvious thing and hire James Franklin. I thought that was such a layup for them. James Franklin was just sitting there, and Florida State was like, nah, we're going to sit tight with Mike Norvell and let James Franklin go to a conference rival. Okay. Like, all right, man, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is at Florida State. I mean, the question is who's going to get Lane Kiffin? Who's going to get John Sumrall? And I think once we know where Lane Kiffin's going and if he's leaving the Ole Miss or not, and where John Sumrall is going from Tulane, I think it'll be a lot clearer what's going to happen with everybody else. But yeah, I don't understand why Mike Norvell still has a job. I don't really get that. Because he obviously is not recruiting at the level they want to recruit at. So even if he has the success at times, it's not consistent enough, and they're not doing on the recruiting trail what they think they should be doing. So they need a coach who's better at sealing the deal with recruits. And that's the kind of guy they need going forward, clearly. Rican says, my hate of Franklin is diabolical, but I still think he'll do great at Virginia Tech. Yeah, James Franklin's going to do amazing at Virginia Tech. They have the infrastructure to be, at worst, the 4th best recruiting school in the ACC. So if James Franklin can recruit at the 3rd or 4th best level of any school in the ACC, he's going to win a ton of games because the bottom half of the ACC is garbage. And so if you have a very solid team, you're not going to be challenged that much. Most of the time, you're going to win comfortably. Evil Badger says Kiffin to Florida. Dude, I would, if it were me, I would say LSU or a bust. I'd say LSU or stay at Ole Miss. LSU's a better job than Ole Miss. It has better buy-in from the in-state recruits. You don't have in-state schools to compete with for those recruits. I think it has a little better resources and is better supported and has the same expectations. So why, if you're going to be expected to win a national title anyway, you need to go to somewhere like LSU where at least you'll for sure have the support needed to do it. At Florida, they do have good support. I'm not saying they don't, but I just don't know if it's national title level compared to some of their peers. I don't think they're, all into the level as a program that the other teams that recruit in the top 10 are. Iapani Lalo Ulu is still hurt, still out. That hurts. He's a really good player for them. So hopefully he can come back in the game. For Oregon, I mean. Makai Lemon, too many ducks though. Making moves in the open space, but too many ducks for him to do anything. What do you think, chat? I think Evil thinks it's Florida. I think it's LSU. What's the better job, Florida or LSU? I think it's clearly LSU, but I think the way LSU matters to the people in that state is like the way Ohio State matters to Ohio. It's unique. It goes past anything professional sports related. Rican says, I don't think his act will play well at Florida. Too quirky. Yeah, I don't think Florida would be a good fit for Kiffin at all. I think that would actually be not a good way for him to go. To me, if you're going to either go to LSU or stay at Ole Miss. Stay at Ole Miss. Like Ole Miss, he's got it rocking. He's got it going great. They're never going to fire him. There are reasons to stay at Ole Miss. Rican says LSU for sure. Yeah, I'm with you, Rican. I think LSU is the better gig. All right, Michigan with a chance to really get control. They're up 14-7. Just had a procedure penalty. But if they can score here, go up 21-7, then Maryland might be in a precarious spot in this game. Robert says he doesn't like how the governor is taking control of LSU and he would stay at Ole Miss because of that. Yeah, I mean, that's something you have to consider. You have to know at LSU, you're going to have a lot of stakeholders in your face who all want a piece of you, and you're going to have to decide who gets it and who's not. All right, big third down for USC. USC cannot give Oregon the ball back here. You cannot give them a chance to go up 2 scores right now. Throwing it downfield. Oh, it could have been picked off. Double coverage. Not a good decision by Jaden Mayava. Not a good decision. That should have been picked off, thrown in double coverage like that. That was a big stop for the Ducks. Big stop for the Ducks. Wow, Oregon going. Touchdown Ducks, punt return score. Are you kidding me? Benson. Wow, Malik Benson with the explosive. That's a game changer. Oh, that's a game changer. USC did all that work to tie this game up, and in just blink of an eye, Oregon takes control. And touchdown Michigan right after that. Donovan McCulley, catch and run for the Wolverines. So Michigan now taking control, now about to go up 21-7. But yeah, Malik Benson, man, that was just not good by USC. They lost contain, and Benson is really fast. Really fast. Yeah, incredible. Rican says LSU is last in education, damn near first in poverty. But yeah, Mr. Governor, football is the primary concern. I mean, yeah, Rican, I wouldn't go to LSU as like a well-run state of the union. I'm just saying, as far as a college football head coaching job, I think after Ohio State and like Alabama, I think LSU is about as good as it gets. Right on. Rican, I know I just wanted to make a joke. Yeah, that's fair, Rican. You're allowed to joke around. That's totally legit. That is legit here. We encourage that. Wow. USC, Oregon. We wanted a barn burner for a playoff play-in game. And we've got punt return touchdowns. We have back and forth play. We have big plays downfield. There have been big penalties. Like this has been a really good game so far. I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm still pretty down about the Gopher result. I'm going to be upset about that all day / all week until we play again next Saturday. But this is, the USC Oregon is definitely keeping my mind off it a little bit because, wow, this is a great game, barn burner for sure. And the reason the shirt is behind me is because the Gophers played so poorly in the first quarter that I changed outfits I changed outfits for the second quarter, and then they played better. I guess I should have changed again after they gave up the lead in the second half, but like by then I was pretty committed. So yeah, frustrating day to be a Minnesota Golden Gopher fan. And I think it's going to be a long offseason for PJ Fleck. He better beat Wisconsin. I'll tell you, he's never had to beat Wisconsin as badly as he needs to beat Wisconsin here to salvage something from this season. So I hope he does it because otherwise, yikes, not good vibes going into next year. Oregon, Malik Benson. Again, what a play. How can USC answer? They need to come back. They need to make sure they get 6 points here because I think Oregon, you can't give a chance. USC got the ball first. Oregon gets the ball at half. They can't take the chance of being down 2 scores at half. You're down 2 scores at half and Oregon gets the ball to start the second half. You're asking to get buried. Austin looks like such a cool stadium. I'm going to have to make that trip at some point. It looks like it's. I like modern stadiums. Like Minnesota plays in a very modern stadium. Austin is more of a little more of a modern stadium, I believe. Oh, Jaden Mayava going deep, deep, deep. Oh, look up number 21 for Oregon, the safety. That should have been an interception. That was not even close. Jaden Mayava, what are you? The Jaden Mayava that from last year is creeping his head out a little bit. He's looking from last year. He's like, oh man, I'm throwing balls up for grabs again, throwing picks. So like, Jaden Mayava, get it under control, man. You can't afford to have another pick. Robert says Autzen was built in the late 60s. Okay, well, that's a lot better than the ones that were built in the 30s. That's for sure. As far as like how they keep sounding and stuff like that. Because I know that's a big thing about Oregon is that it really retains sound well. Which also our stadium also does that really well, which is cool with some stadiums are better at that than others. Whereas you have like Michigan where it actually dissipates sound and it doesn't project the sound the way you think it should with as many people as there are there. Nice run for USC. Lincoln Riley, to his credit, has not abandoned the running game. He's still doing it enough. Oh, Jaden Mayava off his back foot. Nice crossing. Oh, wow. What a pass. That was an NFL throw. That was an NFL throw from Jaden Mayava off his back foot to Jacoby Lane to Nook Hines coming across the middle. Feel like it's Mekhi Lemon time. Feel like it's Mekhi Lemon time right now. Time to play fake and let him do something in space and make it happen. Lincoln Riley's got the extra intense look on his face. Is this a big play, Lincoln? I don't know. I think it is. I think you're going to take a shot here. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're running the ball. But I think they're maybe going to take a shot here. No, screen pass. Okay. 6 yards. Not bad. Wide receiver screen. Okay. Nice safe. Those are the kind of plays USC needs to run. Like, they don't depend on blocking up front. So you can just give it to your athletes in space and let them block in space and make plays in space. And let your athletes do that because that's the advantage you have. The advantage you don't have is up the middle with those big, beefy defensive and offensive linemen. Oh, bad snap. And Mayava is down. Ooh, can't have that. Cannot have that. That's no good at all. No good at all. Robert says USC is going to get blown out at this rate. I mean, they got to be careful, Robert. They got to be the next ones to score. Oregon can't be the next team to score here, or else it could be a long day for the throwing it downfield. It's picked off. What are you, Jaden Mayava? Jaden Mayava just going back. You know what? He wanted to prove me right. I've been wrong all year because last year I said that Jaden Mayava was not legit. And he wasn't legit last year. And I thought he was going to be bad this year. He's been great this year. But you know what? He looks like 2024 Jaden Mayava today. Today, he looks like he doesn't look like 2025. Big time stats, Jaden Mayava. He looks like confused. Will throw the ball up for grabs at any time. Jaden Mayava today. That's how he looks right now. Brutal. Brutal decision there by Mayava. Rican says, oh no, he had a guy wide open. It's like, yes, he did. Another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on USC. They got to stop it with that. Like, that's, you can get those penalties when you're winning. When you're losing, you can't be getting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous at any time. Grow up. Don't do unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, it's the easiest penalty to avoid. All you have to do is not be a whiny. That's it. Yeah, just being dumb. Just dumb play there by Jacoby Lane over on the sideline. Can't be doing that. Cannot be doing that. That's 15 yards unnecessarily. I get why he's frustrated because, like, yeah, but you just can't do that. Man, if Oregon puts, sticks it in right now, I don't know. I don't know what even happens to USC if Oregon scores a touchdown here. It's not great, I don't think. Because, again, they get the ball after half. All right, hold on 1 second. I'll be back real quick. Sorry. My father is calling me, so I will be right back. Hello? Like all other Gopher fans, my dad is very upset right now. So, yeah, that's where that is. I'm also pissed. It's no excuse. No excuse. Oregon continuing to drive down the field. Robert, assuming Minnesota wins next week, do they get a one-way ticket to the desert? Man, I haven't even thought about bowl stuff. I assumed that Minnesota was the guaranteed rate bowl. I don't know. I assumed Minnesota was gonna win today. I haven't, and I'm not big on, you might have noticed I'm really into the college football regular season. It's the most compelling regular season in all of sports. So I'm not as excited about, like, let's think about what's gonna happen in the postseason. Like, to me, like, the postseason's great when we get there. But I'm not really interested in the postseason until we get through rivalry week. And then I get interested in the postseason. So I'm not sure. Reek and the Pop-Tart Bowl. Could be. We've been there before. And PJ had a great time. Or not Pop-Tart Bowl. We haven't been there before. We went to the Mayo Bowl. That's the one we've been to. Pop-Tart Bowl. I think that's a different conference tie-in, Reekin, unfortunately. I'd love to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. But I don't think that's a Big Ten Bowl. There we go. USC rallying to the ball, making a play. Now you got him. Now it's 3rd and 3. Now it's 3rd and medium, or short. I guess short-ish, short to medium. I'd say medium's like 4 yards. Short is 1 to 3. So on the long side of short, but USC's got to get a stop here. You know, Oregon's not in field goal range yet. They got to get a stop. They're bringing up, USC, a lot of guys in the line of scrimmage. I like this as a defensive look. Oregon's throwing it, though. Going downfield. Complete. Oh, man. Malik Benson, the man who had the big punt return, comes up with a big catch on 3rd down the field. Wow. What stones. It was a double move. It was an out and up. What stones of landing to run that play right there. I love that. That's a great play call. So aggressive. Another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, this time on Oregon. Wow. I mean, it's getting chippy down there. These teams do not like each other one bit, and you're seeing it out there. IU Robert says, Indiana didn't play today, but Mendoza got separation from Sayin in the Heisman race. He definitely needs Tate and Smith back. I mean, I don't know, man. I think the Heisman race comes down to the Big Ten title game. I think if Ohio State wins, Sayin wins the Heisman. I think if Indiana wins, Mendoza wins the Heisman. I think it's that simple. Oregon stuffed on 1st and 10, going up the middle. Rican, Dan Lanning cussed 4 out. Yeah, dude, you can't be doing that. You can't be getting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Grow up. This isn't junior high. Like, pull it together. It's way too important for that to be happening. Maryland in the red zone. Okay. I didn't even notice them driving with the focus on the USC Oregon game, but good for them. 5 wide. Sacked. Brutal. Sacked by Michigan there. And now it's 21-10. 21-10 Michigan. So yeah, Maryland had to settle for the field goal there. That's tough. Can't be kicking field goals in a game where you need touchdowns. Nice throw by Dante Moore and an even better catch across the middle by Whittington. Nice play by him in the passing game. Well done. Dan Lanning has that look like we're about to stick the knife in and twist it. You can see it. You can see it. Oh. Okay. That's what I'm going to put up when I take a little break. Clock keeps ticking and USC can't do anything about it. But now Oregon's got to kick a field goal. This is big. This is big if they can get it to a 2-score game or 2-score lead here. Oh, it's going left. He missed it. He missed it. Wide left off the post. Oh, no. I think the penalty. Oh, no. Is the penalty on USC for jumping over the center? Is that what it is? Yep, IU Robert flag leaping. What are you doing? You can't do that. You can't just jump over the center. Personal foul. Wow. Wow, what a mistake by USC. He missed it too. He missed it. Atticus Sappington missed it. Atticus Sappington is not just a college football player, but he sounds like he's from To Kill a Mockingbird. Atticus Sappington. Wow, what a mistake. What a mistake by USC. I mean, that could be a difference in the game right there. Rican says USC is so stupid. Yeah, dude. They are really stupid. That was unbelievably dumb. They just gave up 3 points they didn't have to give up, potentially. You know, or no, it's a first down on the penalty. Oh, man. So 3 to 7 points they shouldn't have had to give up. They're probably going to give up here. USC needs to force a turnover or something. This is terrible for them. This is awful for them. Dante Moore fakes it around the corner running. Oh, I think he almost has the first down. Might be first and goal. Wow. Wow, what a turn, man. USC had him. They had it. They were in position with that. Oh, what a brutal play. Brutal. What a mistake. I mean, I can't talk enough about it. How could USC do that? You know you can't leap over. This isn't backyard football, USC. You can't just leap over the center. That's against the rules. It's totally against the rules. Robert says, I'm the same Robert from earlier, just changed my YouTube handle. All right, Robert. Noted. I thought we had multiple Roberts in the chat, but now I understand it's just the one Robert. I guess the silver lining to Minnesota choking today is I don't have to worry as much about PJ Fleck getting hired away in this coaching cycle. My God. Just absolute dog water of a performance defensively today and down the stretch in that game. Just inexcusable. I'm so upset about it. I don't even know what to say about it. That's why I'm saying a lot about this Oregon USC game. Trying to keep my mind off the Gophers. Absolutely just screwing the pooch completely. Just completely. Michigan driving again, 2.5 minutes left against Maryland. If Michigan scores here, then Maryland, I mean, it's over. You go up 28-10 at halftime. I mean, there's not much of a chance you're against a team as tough up front as Michigan. You're probably not getting back into that game. Bryce Underwood, pump fake, downfield, up in the air. Is it going to get picked off? No. Falls to the ground, incomplete. All right, Oregon. Let's see if you got it. Let's see what you can do, Oregon. Can you put this game in a position where USC is going to have a really hard time? Wow, Iowa only up 7-3 on Sparty at half. I'm surprised. I'm surprised to see Iowa play down a little bit to Sparty in this game. That's strange. But we've seen a lot of strange things today. Like Minnesota getting torched by a mediocre Northwestern offense, which was not on my bingo card for 2025. Absolutely not. Not something I saw coming by any means. All right. Should we look around, see what's going on? Another flag. Geez, there have been a lot of flags in this game, haven't there? Robert says, feel bad for Maryland fans. Loxley deserves to be fired. He does, but who would you get this year, Robert? Like, this is not the year you want to need another coach. I know, Reek, and I'm with you. Another flag, a procedure penalty on Oregon. So many flags, so much sloppy play in this game. See what else we got going on. Any other good games? We got not really, huh? Oh, Texas 21-20 over Arkansas. That's a close game. Interesting. Wow. If Texas lost to Arkansas, man, the meltdown in Austin would be unbelievable. Across that state, the meltdown would be crazy. Kansas State up 2014 on number 12 Utah. That's something to monitor. Oh, Oregon going, and he's in. It's a touchdown, I think. Touchdown? Touchdown. They haven't said it yet. Yeah? Yeah, touchdown? I think it's a touchdown. Okay. 2nd and 6, run it right up the middle. Just lined up and go at him. Get in the end zone. Impressive stuff from Oregon. They've just dominated up front in this half. Dominated up front, and then USC with just the costly error. I mean, off a missed field goal to have a penalty like that went Oregon from not scoring to getting a touchdown. I mean, that's worth 7 points in this game, that penalty. So that's really rough. USC, it's hard to overcome mistakes like that. Rican says big boy run. Yeah, it was. That was a tough man run. He kept his legs churning. He would not be denied, and his blockers wouldn't quit either. They carried right along with him. So really good team effort there from Oregon to get in the end zone. Noah Whittington, yeah, he's special. He's really special. Yeah, the whole line of scrimmage just pushing him, just churning their legs, churning it. It's wild. Impressive stuff. All right, Oregon on the direct snap on the 2-point conversion, and it's good. Or no, that was just for the touchdown? Did they not give it to him? They must have not given it to him on the one before. That seems strange. I think he was clearly in on the one before, but okay, whatever. Now they're going to go up 28-14. Well, the Trojans better score a touchdown these next 2 minutes, people, or else it's going to be getting late early for the men of Troy. Because Oregon gets the ball to start the second half, and I have a feeling they're going to come out running the ball right at them. Right at them. Oh, Betcher, who got the touchdown. The linebacker, giving him a vanity run. I like that. Rican Raider. Got ahead, guys. Thanks, Mike. That was fun. Hey, thanks, Rican. Really appreciate you stopping by, man, and kicking it. Good luck in the second half with Maryland. Curious what's going on in this Michigan State-Iowa game. And why Iowa is playing not able to just kind of line up and run all over them. I'm kind of surprised at that. Let's check out the stats a little bit. Iowa, wow, 177 yards for Sparty, only 101 for Iowa, just 24 passing yards, 77 rushing for the Hawkeyes. Wow, that's 101 yards at pass at half. That's really rough. All right, Michigan going for a field goal. So Maryland able to get a stop to at least hold this to a potentially 2-touchdown lead or just a 2-score lead if they miss, I suppose. So let's see if Michigan can make this and get it to 2 touchdowns. It's up. Oh, it's wide. It's wide right. Missed it. Wide right. Okay, Maryland hangs in there. Okay, if the Terps can score before half, make it 21-17, they're right back in this game. They're right back in this game. So now it's up to USC. USC's got to do the same thing. USC's got to come right out, and they got to drive down the field in 2 minutes and score a touchdown. Not a field goal. Touchdown. All right, Trojans, what do you have? What do you got? Lincoln Riley, this better be your best drive of the season, buddy. You better have it right now. Better be dialing up some good stuff. This would be the time. This would be time to pull out your best plays. Get it going. And Maiyava's got to not throw into coverage the way he has so far in this half. I mean, he's been really sloppy with the ball to the tune of 2 interceptions, and you just can't be doing that if you're going to win games. All right, 5 wide, underneath throw. Not a bad throw, but you got to catch that. You got to help your quarterback out. It wasn't a great throw, but it was good enough. You got to help your quarterback out there for sure. Another big catch. A big catch and run for USC, and they are moving right down the field already at the 25. What a play. Stuffed there on the run, but USC needed to get downfield. They did it. Good for them. Now they just got to put it in the end zone. Can they do it? What a game, though. And USC so explosive to just throw the ball up and make a play like that. Tuioti with the tackle for loss there. He's a heck of a player. All right, USC Mayava turns the corner, running upfield. Impressive. Jaden Mayava getting it done. That was a good decision. Good decision by Mayava to turn it up and run there. Well-conceived play by Lincoln Riley. All right. Come on, USC. Let's make this a game. I'm not rooting for USC to win, but I am rooting for them to make this a game. There we go. Complete to the tight end, Lake McCree, the man in the middle. He's a good player. Good for him. First and goal. Wow, USC is almost in danger of scoring too fast. Like, I mean, you obviously if you can score, you're going to score, but you know, Oregon could have some time left when they get this ball. If USC scores on this play. Oh, handoff. Nope. Oh, slammed to the ground by the safety Thieneman. Came flying up to stop that run play. Impressive stuff. Maryland punting again already, so not great for the Terrapins. Not great at all. All right, second and goal. USC. It looks loud Knotson. I'm sure it is. All right, coming in motion. Makai Lemon lines up as a back. They hand it to him. He's running the ball, and that's not going anywhere. I don't know what they thought they were doing with that. You take your best player and motion him to where everyone knows he's getting the ball, even though he's not a running back. That seems weird to me. Seems like a weird choice. I get trying to get speed the ball, but this is like when it kind of shrinks and it's more about, you know, decisiveness and power than it is about speed right here, Lincoln. So like you're got to kind of be smarter. But maybe he didn't want to score there. You know, maybe he's just going to run it all the way down, take his timeout. Oregon's out of timeouts. So he's trying to make sure Oregon doesn't have any time left. So I guess that's the strategy, but then you better score that touchdown. You can't get a field goal here. You have to score. It means you have to score now on third down. You know? College football playoff top 15. Number 1, Ohio State. 2, Indiana. 3, Texas A&M. Georgia. Texas Tech. Ole Miss. Oregon. Oklahoma. Notre Dame. Way overrated. Notre Dame should not be ranked that high. Alabama. BYU. Utah. Miami. Vanderbilt. USC. Notre Dame and Miami actually have the same amount of losses, and they played head-to-head. So Miami should be ranked above them when they're this close in the playoff rankings. Like Miami should absolutely be ranked above Notre Dame. They beat them head-to-head. I don't care that it was early in the season. What is the point of playing the games if the results don't matter? What's the point of playing the games if the results don't matter? Miami has to be ranked over Notre Dame. They have to. All right, third and goal. Oh, Oh, incomplete. So what does USC do? I think you got to go for it here. I don't think you can kick a field goal and be down 11 at half when Oregon gets the ball to start the second half. I don't think you can kick a field goal here. I think you have to go for it. And yeah, that might have been pass interference. I don't know. It was close. Yeah, that was close. It's close to pass interference. Brady in the chat says, how have both USC and Oregon been in the second half of games? You know, Oregon hasn't played a lot of close games. In the second half against Indiana, they weren't good. They weren't good in the fourth quarter, especially. But they were good against Iowa in the second half, I'd say, better. And they missed it. They missed the field goal. So after Lincoln Riley kicks a field goal like a moron when he needed a touchdown, he doesn't even make the field goal. And now they're still down 14 after all that. Embarrassing. Embarrassing, Lincoln Riley. Embarrassing you didn't play to get a touchdown there. You ran the ball on first down. Or no, second down. You ran the ball on second down there. What were you doing? To save time? You need to make sure you score first. Man, that's stupid of him. Absolutely dumb. Dumb. So, and USC's been good in the second half of games. They were really good. They were down 21-10 last week against Iowa, and they shut Iowa out in the second half and came back to win 26-21. So USC and Oregon, you know, I think USC's probably been a little better, had a little more close games to be good in the second half, and Oregon's just been ahead by so much in most of their games that it's like, I guess you can call them a second half team, but like, I don't know. It's whatever. Quacks, CG Yajum. I'm going to call you Quacks, QAX, Quacks. USC is a dirty team. They'll try hip drop tackling Oregon QB like they did Raiola so they can win. Hip drop tackling. So you're interesting. So you must be a Nebraska fan. You're saying that USC hurt Dylan Raiola on purpose. Because if that's true, that's an incendiary allegation. If that's true, though, that's not okay. You can't be hip drop tackling in 2025. Everyone knows how dangerous it is. Like, you cannot be doing that. That's absolutely not okay. Not okay. Cannot do it. All right, we got halftime, y'all. I'm just gonna put on mute and put up a background, but I will be back and live streaming as soon as the second half starts. So as soon as they line up to kick off, I will be back. I hope you join me, and I will see you in a little bit. All right, I am back. I am back for the second half. So I know some people might have left while I was gone, but I hope people will come back if they want to.
Along with clearer skin, Skyrizi helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And it's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. There's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today. Learn how.
All right. Michigan getting the ball first with the 35. Oh, kind of not a great throw or attempt at a catch there, but that'll happen. That will happen. So the question is, can USC make a comeback? I mean, they could, but they really screwed the pooch not getting a touchdown there and then settling for the field goal and then missing the field goal. So, and Oregon gets the ball first. So that's tough too. Yeah. Iowa struggling the way they are is kind of strange, and just not being able to move the ball at all. Like, what's the deal there, Iowa? Like, Iowa is so talented. Like, they are so close to being like a 10-2 kind of team, and they just have been on the wrong side of every close game. And then, they play down in their competition sometimes. I mean, down 10-7 right now, halfway through the third quarter. Sparty has the ball and is ahead. Like, Sparty hasn't won a game in the Big Ten yet. And yeah, they've been better at times, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. All right. Just want to remind people I'm live. All right, we got the kickoff. Oregon, all right, has the ball. We need USC is going to need to get a stop here. You got to get a turnover, you got to force a stop, you got to do something. Do something, anything. All right, Oregon. Right back up to their old tricks, running outside zone, getting downfield, getting on defenders, making blocks, 2nd and 4. That's the thing. When Oregon gets a lead on you, they can just run the ball and they can just grind you. They can just absolutely grind you. If Michigan scores here, I think I'm going to turn my second TV to the Iowa-Michigan State game, because I think it'll be over. Okay, Michigan downfield, completion, yeah. Yeah, if Michigan scores a touchdown here, it's going to be 28-10, I'm going to assume. Even though 28-13 was not a safe lead earlier, Minnesota Golden Gophers, I think it will be a safe lead for Michigan, given the way they play defense and run the ball. Oregon, nice pop by the DB on the outside, and the Oregon guy drops the ball. So that looked like a catch, but he got popped and did not hold on. So nice way to be physical, USC. Got to do that sometimes. All right. Oregon once again, 1st and 10. Ooh, Lincoln having intense talks with somebody. Yeah. Michigan's up 28-10. Unless that game gets close again, I'm going to switch my second TV to ooh, do we have to what do you call it? Iowa and Michigan State, which is 10-7 last I checked. Michigan State leading. And Michigan State has not won a conference game yet, and Iowa is, like I said, one of the probably the best 4-loss team I feel like I'd ever seen. So for them to be losing to Sparty right now, this late in the game, is almost incomprehensible to me. Like it's just wild. Just wild stuff. Oregon fakes the handoff, throws it to Sadiq in the flat. Man, he is just so dynamic. Like, what a special player. Just getting into space, running like a gazelle. Just an absolute freak athlete to be that size and that fast. And beating guys, just beating guys speed-wise. Like, it's wild. All right, Michigan State, play fakes, throws downfield. Terrible pass over the middle. He was open. He just missed him. Brutal. Brutal miss. Just skipped it to him. Milivojevic, who is still playing quarterback for, I thought it was maybe a one-game thing with Aiden Childs, but clearly Jonathan Smith is ready to move on from Aiden Childs, which I did not expect. But he's seen enough, I guess. He's seen enough and feels like he's gotta get somebody else. So we'll see if Milivojevic is that guy, or if it's ends up being somebody else. Wow, big hole in the middle for Sparty. Breaks into the open. He's going. Wow. Nice run. Nice run. Impressive right there. Right up the middle. Just break and contain. Big. I mean, I could have run through that hole. Really nice play by Tullis there. All right, 4th and 1 for Oregon. This is a big play in this game. It's at midfield, about 44, their own 44-yard line. So if they don't get it, a sneaky sneak, a wide receiver sneak. I don't know if he got it. I think he was short. They had the wide receiver come under and take the snap, and I think he hurried too much. They always try to do that. They always try to hurry. I don't know if he got it. He got a push, but I don't know if it was a big enough push. Because then the push back came. They missed the measurement. You don't think he got it? Yeah, Robert, I don't think he got it either, man. I do not. And of course, my TV decides to do that thing again, but that's okay. I will be back in 1 second. TV crew missed the official measurement. Yeah, that's inexcusable. Inexcusable, TV crew. Third and goal for Sparty. Milivojevic, back shoulder fade, touchdown, caught. Wow. Sparty goes up 2 scores against Iowa. Against Iowa. I can't even believe that. Danielson won't shut up about what? Like I said, Robert, I ended up off of it for a second because of my TV being difficult. What won't he won't shut up about missing the measurement, or about what aspect? Wow, in Kinnick, Iowa just getting embarrassed right now, 17-7. You know, if Minnesota had won today, I could really enjoy this. But we didn't. And so not as much. Not as much. So any rival fans who want to enjoy your Schadenfreude, you can have it, because this is a low moment. This is one of the low moments of the entire PJ Fleck era. Like, it really is. But John from the podcast texting me, don't look now, but Iowa, Sparty is up on Iowa. And I'm like, I know, man. And Iowa can't move the ball at all. Robert says he went on long about the sneak, which caused them to miss the measurement. Yeah, that's annoying. That's annoying. You cannot be missing a measurement. Like, you have to show that on TV. Come on. Like, TV crews, the things they miss now these days, sometimes it's like absolutely not acceptable by any means. All right. So did he get it or not get it? Short. He's short. Wow. USC ball. Okay. Okay. We got a game. We got a game now. Potentially. USC takes over the football. Now, if they can go get a touchdown now, we got a game. All right. Love that. Needed that. USC needed a turnover, and they got one. Good for them. Let's see if they can turn this into points. Run up the middle stuff. Yeah, I just don't think you're going to get very far, USC, running it up the middle against Oregon. I think run to the outsides most of the time, or else, throw it to your playmakers in space. I don't think you're challenging them up front is going to work great. Ooh, ball tipped. Now it's 3rd and long. Come on, Trojans. This is must go for it territory, so I think you got to get half of this back. I think you got a plan to get, 5 to 7 yards here and go for it on 4th down. If you can't get the full 10, Obviously, if you can get 10 yards, get 10 yards, but you got to get enough that you can go for it. You can't punt here. That'd be a big failure after getting a turnover like that. Oh, Mayava's out of the pocket. Oh, throws it across his body. Not good. 4th down. Wow. USC goes 3 and out after that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, USC? Pathetic. Pathetic. I'm embarrassed for y'all. For you all. All right. 4th down. They're going for it. USC. Good for them for not punting. You can't. Oh, it's picked off. Wow. Jaden Mayava throws another pick. This time to Kennedy. Wow. I mean, tried to run a up and out, and he just jumped that route. I mean, that's a fantastic play by the DB. Maava didn't even look. He was throwing it there all the way to Mekhi Lemon regardless. Like that's just poor decision making. This is what I say about Jaden Maava, is that when it's really counts and they need it, he doesn't always make good decisions. He does not. And today he's thrown 3 really costly picks in a game where the yardage is relatively even. But the game isn't even because Maava has thrown 3 picks. Brutal. Brutal. All right, Iowa 2nd and 4. Their own territory. Okay, there's some running. Yeah, there's some running success, but I don't know why Iowa hasn't had any at all before that. Yeah, that was bad for USC. This game might get out of hand. It's possible. It's possible this one's going to get ridiculous. You know? And if so, we can talk about anything going on in the world of college football. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Big Ten games as they are going on. But I'm open to any other conversation. So any conversation you guys want to have, college football related or otherwise, we can do that. Because it looks like every time USC has a chance to get back in this game, Oregon makes a play. Oregon's made a play. Every time USC has had a chance to get back in this game, Oregon has made plays, often in the form of interceptions against Jaden Maava. And good for them, man. Good for them. I mean, the way the nickelback plays this is just so good. He gets a jam and he jumps the route. He undercuts him and jumps it. And he's got safety help. So, even if he gets over the top, he knows he's not going to get beat deep because the safety's coming to help him. So that's just a really good scheme. Just putting your, that's Dan Lanning, putting your guys. I guess USC has 2 picks now. But they had the turnover on down. So that's 3 turnovers. But the 2 picks for Maava, and they've both been bad picks. Really, really not good decisions by him either time. Oregon scores here, could get pretty lopsided. Could escalate. It'll be interesting to see if Oregon does end up winning this convincingly, where do they end up ranked? Because the knock on Oregon has been their schedule. And after playing, a top 15 team in USC or whatever they are right now, there's just no knock on their schedule anymore, really. Yeah, USC is 15. So you're going to knock off the number 15 team and you're going to beat them convincingly. That's a really quality win that goes up there with a lot of the teams ranked in their best wins. Maybe Oregon doesn't deserve to be 7th. Maybe Oregon should be 4th or 5th. Maybe they are that good. They are looking like it today. So we'll see. Wow. Oregon, 22 run plays, 22 pass plays. Oh, picked off by USC. Terrible throw by Dante Moore. And he's returning it. And he's going. USC. Okay. USC needed a play. They got a play. Oh, no. Blocking the back. Robert? Oh, yeah. But at least it's a pick. At least it's a pick. That gives them a chance. They got to score a touchdown here. They can't keep effing around with these opportunities. It's just not gonna, yeah. Wow, he had a guy open too. He just threw it to the wrong guy. Robert, they must have picked up the flag. Yeah, no, I saw the flag thing too. So it's interesting. Yeah, they must have picked it up. Really good play by 28 to come off his initial zone and slip under and get that. That was really good play by him. No, there is a hold. Okay, there's the hold. Yeah, fair. That's a hold. Mark Gronowski throws it downfield for Iowa, actually complete. So I love that Iowa's apparently played terrible all day, but as soon as I put it on the second screen, they all of a sudden are having a clutch drive because apparently Iowa can only succeed when I'm watching them, which I don't like at all. I don't appreciate that. I would like to see them fail. I would like to see them fail. And that's just how I feel about it. Yeah, Maeva started 12 for 19 for 152 yards. Since then, 3 for 9 for 69 and 2 picks. Woof. Gotta get this going. Gotta get it going this drive. You're on the 40-yard line, essentially, 41. You gotta get home here. All right, double move, throwing it to outside back shoulder. That's interference, isn't it? Yeah, I was gonna say. He ripped him to the ground. That's interference on Oregon and should be. You know, he was in position. But he just grabbed him anyway. You know, if you're on a guy and he makes a back shoulder catch on a good throw, you just kind of, sometimes that happens. Like you can't just rip him to the ground and let him have it easy. Seems not smart. Like, make him make the actual catch. If it's going to be a tough catch, if you put him in position to make it a tough catch, make him make the catch. Don't just commit a penalty. Wow. Maeva pulls it and runs, lowers his shoulder into a defensive back. You know, the teammates love that. Love that. I'm sure they do. They're like, that's my quarterback saying, F you, I'm going for more yards. I'm not just stepping out. Not just stepping out of bounds. Yeah, good for him. That's what gets guys to rally around you, those kind of plays. But now Maeva's got to make good decisions and actually put it in the end zone and not just throw it to another Oregon defensive back. Really good tackle on the edge. Tried to get to Mekhi Lemon on a little bubble, and awesome one-on-one tackle. That's how you do it. Going to be 4th and 2 or so, 4th and 2 and 3. And if you're Lincoln Riley, dude, don't you dare kick a field goal, buddy. You're down 2 touchdowns. You're going to need 2 touchdowns to win. Field goals get you nothing. You need touchdowns. All right, come on now. Let's get it done here. Wow, Maeva runs it, and he gets it. Wow, gutsy call. I didn't expect that. I thought for sure it'd be a pass. I did not think he would have the nuts to run it right there. Good for him. All right, 1st and 10 from the 11. Maeva hands it off. Ooh, big hit. Not going far there. Robert, USC's O-line not good at creating holes for the run game. No, they're not very good up front. USC is still not a Big Ten power team level team. Last year, they weren't even like an average Big Ten level team up front, and they're a little better this year, but they're still not a power level conference team up front. Not at all. They're very average. 3rd and 3. All right, need 6 here. Complete touchdown. Touchdown, Trojans. Okay. 5:48 left in the 3rd quarter. We got ourselves a little bit of a game. We got a game. I'm excited. All right, for the extra point now. In. All right, 28-21, Oregon. Now that's on the pressure's on the Ducks again. Love it. Love it. Switching back. Seeing if we can get Oregon to get it done a little bit. Oregon wants to show that they think that they're better than last year. Well, they're better than last year. They will turn around and score right now and take back control of this game. That's what they'll do. Robert, Indiana flipped to Wisconsin lineman. Makes me so happy we have Bostad to stick it to his former school. Yeah, I've long said that Bob Bostad is as good an offensive line coach as there is in college football. I mean, full stop. For Wisconsin to first make him a linebackers coach and then to let him go entirely was always a mistake. It was always a mistake. He should have been always working with offensive linemen, not linebackers, which he was good at linebackers too. But he's an offensive line guru. He's a savant. So yeah, it's and Wisconsin, let's be real, Robert, Wisconsin's not recruiting very well. Minnesota has the top 2 recruits in Wisconsin, I believe, committed to them, or 2 of the top 3 or something like that. So Fickle is not recruiting well in state. Minnesota, more and more schools like Minnesota and Indiana are starting to treat Wisconsin like it's in-state recruiting. And after Iowa scored the touchdown, now the pressure's on Sparty. Can they hold on and get their first win, or are they going to fade in front of an angry crowd in Kinnick? Iowa needed that drive. They hadn't been able to move the ball really all night. Sparty, okay. Nice play by Sparty, but a good tackle by Iowa to limit it to 6 or 7 yards instead of 20. All right, Sparty, 2nd and 4. They got to stay on schedule, and they need to not just, score, yes, but probably move the ball, take some time off the clock, really put the pressure on Iowa. All right, Sparty rolling out. Throw it, undercut, 4th down. They got to go for it, I think. Yeah, I don't think you can punt there. Nope, they're going to punt. Yeah, I don't know. I think you should be going for it and sneaking it, Sparty. I know you're only on your own 30-something, but I guess, I don't know, though. I think you got to sneak it and just get it. Give Iowa the ball back with good field position here. Seems like a mistake. Robert, 70-0 Notre Dame over Syracuse. Yeah, Syracuse, since Steve Angeli got hurt, Syracuse can't do anything. They're really bad. They're really bad. It's tough. Oregon run outside. Oh, he breaks a tackle, keeps going. Whittington just keeps churning his legs. He's a heck of a player. It's a big down coming up. Second and 5. Well, I guess not this one as much, but if they can, nope, got the first down anymore. Yeah. Oregon's just got so much speed on the perimeter. It's wild. Just unlimited, it seems. Guys who can do things out there in space and are talented. Even when they're down their best guys, doesn't seem to matter that much. Must be nice. All right, Oregon, 1st and 10, midfield. Run to the outside left. Yeah, Oregon is just gashing USC on these outside zone runs. Just getting guys in space, getting blockers in space, getting, most importantly, their running backs, Davison and Whittington, in space, and also Hill Jr. Yeah. Hill, man, he's special. He's going to be something else. And, I mean, he already is, but he's going to be even better as, by next year, I'm sure. Yeah, Oregon is just fully committed to the running game and is just trying to out-muscle USC at this point and just kind of break them a little bit and take up time so that not only are they scoring points, but they're giving USC less time on the clock to have a chance to mount a comeback. So it's smart. Oregon's being really deadly efficient. They're kind of like a cobra. They're just squeezing. They're just squeezing right now. And can USC make a play here, or are they going to just get, are they going to get suffocated? Okay, 3rd down. 3rd and what, 3 or 4? Iowa blasted on an outside run by a blitzer. Yeah, I don't know if you're playing Iowa with the way they run, why you don't just blitz all the gaps all the time. I don't understand that. Didn't understand it when Minnesota refused to do it. I don't understand it now because I see Sparty has been doing that a lot this game, and they're having success in stifling Iowa's run game. And now it's 2nd and 18 for Iowa, and that's not a good position for them. for this Iowa offense. Iowa, 3rd and long. They really need this. Gronowski is not. They don't ask him to throw it a lot. He's only 8 for 15, 80 yards in the game, but he's going to need to get this one because there's only 8 minutes left, and they can't really afford to punt here. Gronowski throws it late downfield, and he throws it away. He had a receiver potentially, but he wouldn't risk it, and now it's 4th and long, and now Iowa has to punt. Wow. Wow, if you're an Iowa fan, that is demoralizing. Just absolutely demoralizing. Like, what is your favorite team, the Hawkeyes, even doing? Like, what are they even trying to accomplish there? Just terrible, terrible play. So Iowa punts. It's a nice long punt, as it always is, but yep, and not much of a return. But they need to force a 3 and out and get that ball back. All right. Giving a game update. Oh, why do they show Notre Dame? Syracuse is so bad. 49-0. Let's show a Notre Dame touchdown run. 70-0 Notre Dame. Congratulations. Notre Dame can beat a team that gave up playing in September. Congrats, Irish. My sarcasm is because Notre Dame doesn't belong in the playoff. They have 2 losses, and they haven't played enough tough opponents like everyone else has to justify putting them in a playoff over other more deserving teams. Full stop. So I'm just not okay with that. Not okay with it at all. All right, 3rd and 2. All right, USC. You want back in this game. It's clearly a run. They took the quarterback out. Or no, that is Dante Moore. Never mind. He's audibling. It's probably a run. It's not. It's a pass. Okay. Throwing downfield. Touchdown. And who else? Who else? Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq. Touchdown, Oregon. Wow. Wild. 35. Going to be about to be 35-21. That's what Oregon need. They needed the answer, and they got it. They got it. And that was right on the money from Dante Moore. Perfect pass. Beautiful. Love it. Well, thanks, Mia. I appreciate that it's your favorite college football podcast. It is also my favorite college football podcast, coincidentally. And so I'm glad that you enjoy it. And I know you've been in the chat before and you are an Indiana fan. So enjoy the wonder that is the Signetti era at Indiana. It is truly the salad days for the Hoosiers. So that's fun. Fun to be a Hoosier fan these days. No question about it. A lot of fun. Wow, Iowa got the 3 and out, and then they blocked the punt. That's so Iowa. They didn't block it, but they tipped it. So it's like only went like 20 yards or so. Yeah. That's so Iowa core. So Iowa core. Absolutely. To make a play like that on special teams to potentially give them a chance to get back in this game. Who got there? No, was it just a bad punt? I thought he tipped it. It was just a bad punt. Wow, that's bad. That's terrible. Just brutal. That was a big touchdown for Oregon. Atticus Sappington kicks off. And yeah, I think USC is chasing, so they got to keep scoring touchdowns. Oh, Atticus Sappington fell down on the kick, but somehow it still went all the way down the field. So it ends up not being a big deal, even though that could have been disastrous. Could have been disastrous. Iowa breaks off. Oh, almost broke off a long run. Got tackled first. All right, USC. Mayava takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws it downfield in the middle for about 12 yards to the tight end, McCree, who's had a nice day. Nice play there. He's a good player. If I'm USC, you got to kind of be in a hurry here. You know, like, yeah, you don't have to like rush. You don't have to be in like a 2-minute offense, but you also, you need 2 touchdowns and you need Oregon to stop scoring. So you got to assume that you're going to need maybe 3 touchdowns. So if that's going to happen, you got to get on your horse a little bit and be ready to go. That's a bad pass, Jaden. Bad pass by Jaden Mayava there. No good. Got to keep that going. Oh, fumble. Mayava fumbles. He had the pressure, gets fumbled, and USC recovers. But boy, that's not good. Not good for the Trojans. Not good at all. Really nice play by Uiagalelei. Impressive play. All right, USC has to punt there. Oh, but he hit the punter. Is that a flag? Did they throw it? No. Flag. Ooh, is it running into the kicker or is it roughing the kicker? Because if it's roughing the kicker, Iowa 4th and 11 goes for it. Incomplete. Gronowski, another terrible throw. Wow, why is he only good against us and bad against everybody else? I don't understand it. Don't understand it. This doesn't seem fair. See, is this flag what I think it's for? Is it running into or roughing the kicker? I got to turn it on just to find out. Oh, only running into, not roughing. Brutal. So it doesn't help them at all. Doesn't help them at all. Yeah, it's too bad, USC. So now if Oregon scores here, then this game is pretty much, that's all she wrote. That is all she wrote. All right, we got probably one play left in the third quarter. All right, fourth quarter. Here we go. We got 1 quarter left to glory, 1 quarter left to live stream. I am open to all topics other than, I mean, we can continue. Obviously, we'll continue talking about this game and narrating and whatnot and talking about how important it is to college football playoff. But any other topics anybody wants to discuss, the floor is open. I am interested in whatever y'all want to talk about. I'm pumped about this. This is, it's been a good back and forth game. If USC could just take advantage of their opportunities a little better, this would be a 1-score game probably. And we'd be talking about a very different game. If they had been aggressive, instead of kicking it on that 4th down and, relatively short, they should have gone for it. And then they missed the kick. So that was a mistake by Lincoln Riley, in my opinion. All right. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm back. All right, 2nd and 5 for Oregon. Can USC make this a game or not? Looks like Iowa has a good chance of losing to Sparty, but But it's not over yet. 4th and 15. Sparty has to punt. You know, maybe Caden Weetjen can get a good return that would put Iowa in a position to score. Looks like they tried to block it unsuccessfully. Can Weetjen get a return? He makes a move. He breaks one guy's ankles. He goes. He breaks around the right side. Caden Weetjen cuts back. Wow, all the way down to the 40. What did I say? I'm like Nostradamus, baby. I said Caden Weetjen needs to make a play. Caden Weetjen went out and made a play. Boom. Love it. Love when that happens. I summoned it. I swear. Why couldn't I summon it for the Gophers? Because I was trying to all night. Oh, a fumble by Oregon and a sack on 3rd and 9. USC gets the chance to get the ball back right away. Hopefully, see if they can make it a game. All right. Fumble by Oregon. Again, yeah, they're just showing the replay. Okay, I was like, what? Why are they? Okay, yeah. All right, Iowa, one last chance. One last chance to be the heroes or the goats. Rock and rant, cool either way. I'll throw rock and rant. I will throw in the chat here the thing if you want to come on and bullshit at all. If you want to come hang out, Rock, and talk a little bit, I'm more than happy to have you. If not, I understand that as well, but I dropped the link in the chat. And if anyone else, if like really wants to come talk ball and wants to hop on and be on and talk, you are welcome to it as well at this point, I would say. I just can't believe this Iowa performance. Like, I'm shocked by it. I truly, Iowa at times has played like a legit top 15 team in the country in a lot of games, in like several games. They played like a top 15 or 20 team in the country. And then other games they play like they played against Michigan State today. And I don't know what they're doing. I don't have any idea. Like, none at all. Ooh, we're going to have a special guest, people. We're going to have Rock and Rant from College Football Express on the pod. He'll be on here shortly. So that's exciting. Always good getting his take on everything. I want to hear he is a Miami fan and a Miami expert and a college football expert in general. You know, he really knows his stuff. So really curious to hear some of his takes about what's going on with the college football playoff and what's going on with Miami and Notre Dame and all that kind of stuff. We can maybe get some rant out of the Rock and Rant. Let's get some of the rant out of him. Absolutely. Gary Danielson, and they're both rocking the coats. I mean, I guess it's what, in the 40s? I guess that's what you got. If you're going to wear a suit, you can wear a coat. That's legit. I respect that. You start wearing hats in the air, you start getting away from me. It's like, don't do that. All right, Mayava downfield. Oh! But to Makai Lemon, missed him, but looks like pass interference potentially. or else defensive holding, maybe on Jaden Kennedy. Kennedy or Kennedy? I forget. I've heard both. Pass interference on the defense. Okay, USC moving the ball a little bit, making this exciting. Pumped about that. Absolutely pumped about it. All right, 1st and 10 in Duck territory. Jaden Mayava pressured right away, but he maneuvers to the left, throws it upfield, and it's another penalty. He's out of, catches the ball, but he's out of bounds for Jacoby Lane. But there's a penalty, and it might be on Oregon again. Again, which would be wild. Should be super wild. Yep. I mean, he's holding him. I think that was a catch, though. I don't know if he was out of bounds. He called him out of bounds. Gronowski deep into the end zone. Caught by Iowa. Touchdown, Iowa. Are you kidding me? With 90 seconds left, 79 seconds, or 89 seconds left, excuse me. Iowa scores a passing touchdown, something they almost never do. This game is not over yet. The Iowa fans are going nuts. Do they go for 2 or do they kick it? That's the question. All right, USC running the ball up the middle. Again, USC. The running the ball up the middle. I just don't think it hasn't worked for you today, really. It has not worked for you very well. Iowa with the big extra point, and it's good. Okay. Could we be heading to OT in Iowa City? That'd be exciting. And we got USC with a chance to get back into this one, so that's exciting too. So I'm pumped. Absolutely pumped about where these games are heading. This is what you want to see. This is for sure what you want to see right now. Now, if USC could score, we could really make this a game. Could really make this a game. If they, I mean, you know. All right, USC with a screen pass to the running back. Untouched for almost 15 yards before he gets tackled. All right. Loving it. Loving it. Nice. Beautiful screen set up. Got number 73. God bless him. Getting downfield, getting a block way downfield. God bless him. Love when they get the offensive linemen in space and they make, blocks in space like real athletes, because they are real athletes. Running it right up the middle, USC, again, not going far. I don't. Maybe it's to set up other plays, Lincoln, but I don't understand what you're doing with that half the time, because it's just running up the middle has not, unless it's just to keep them honest, because it has not worked. That's for sure. Has not. All right. 2nd and 7. USC fakes the handoff. Rolls out right. Throws it across the middle to Lake McCree. Touchdown! Touchdown, Trojans. Wow. And it goes silent in Autzen. I just turned on the sound just for that. Yep. Lake McCree with the touchdown. He's a heck of a tight end. He's a really good player. Really good player. Robert, they're going for 2. Why is he going for 2? That seems crazy to me. That seems like a mistake. Why would they do that? Fake handoff, fake other handoff, throw it across the middle, and he dropped it. You idiots. Why did you go for 2 there? What are you doing? I guess because you have 2 shots to go for 2. The hope is you go for 2 the first time, get it, and then the next time you get 15. But I guess the thought is that if you score again, you can still go for 2 and maybe you get it. I don't know, man. That seems like a dumb decision to me, to be honest. I don't really understand that. I don't understand it. Yeah, I'm getting multiple texts that are like, hey, why did they go for 2? I don't understand that. Yeah, why did they go for 2? That seems like a dumb decision. You get all the momentum back on your side. All the momentum. You score a touchdown. You're thinking we're within 1 score. Just got to get a stop. And then you go for 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing in the Rock and Rant from the College Football Express into the show. Rock, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Mike. How are you, man?
I mean, I've had better Saturdays.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard about the end of your Gophers game at Wrigley. A tough out there.
Yeah, it's been a painful season as a Minnesota fan, and this is just the cherry on top of it, I think.
Hey,
to
man,
miss
like
two kicks that way, and then including the one that would have put it in overtime is brutal.
well, it's I mean, just to pull it all together, the beautiful or / horrible thing about doing this YouTube world that we've come in and become friends with people like you is paying attention. Last year as I got more into more national teams, and I remember not to rip up things, but in my other screen to the left of what I'm looking at you on is the end of the North Carolina Duke game. And
what's
I remember
that like?
Duke came back and won that game at the end. It was they were up big. North Carolina came back. It doesn't matter for most people. For ACC people, it does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's better for Miami for Duke to have won. But just to bring it full circle, I remember the Minnesota-North Carolina game last year, right? Which was also a field goal game. So you guys have definitely suffered from that as much, which is probably why it's good that in addition to being a Gophers fan, your channel is like Big Ten also focused, so you can always have something going on, which is probably why the channel that we started at College Football Express is national, even if my origin story is as a Miami fan.
Yes, so Rock, you are a Miami fan, as you said, but you guys over at College Football Express, and everybody, if you're watching, go subscribe to College Football Express right now. Absolutely do that. They're fantastic. They cover, like you said, it's a national podcast. They cover everything, and they have really cool graphics to go along with covering everything. And sometimes they do little videos that are funny. So they do a lot over there. They're doing things all the time.
Appreciate the shout out. Thank you.
So go check them out for sure. And Robert, overtime for Iowa, Michigan State is really likely here. And overtime, Sparty's going to find a way to choke it away. They will. They haven't won a Big Ten game all year. It's not going to happen. And I'll tell you what. Oh, Iowa gets a catch, though. They want to win in regulation. So, what was I just going to say to you, Rock? Rock, let's bring it back to the Miami thing. How do you I want to give you the floor a little bit. How do you feel about the college football playoff rankings and where they're at?
Well, I'm of two mindsets, and my mindset has also changed. So I like to say that, I have orange and green filtered glasses, but I like to be real about things too, right? And Miami lost 2 games that they shouldn't have. Period.
Right.
Full stop. End of story. But they're not necessarily as bad of losses as some of the narrative from Notre Dame. And I fully admit, I hate Notre Dame. I've hated them since I was in college. I didn't like being called a convict. I can't stand them. I try to be fair to every other team. They're the exception.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm not old enough to remember when Notre Dame stole Lou Holtz from Minnesota. And Lou Holtz's contract at Minnesota said he couldn't leave for any other job except Notre Dame. So my dad taught me from a young age to hate Lou Holtz and Notre Dame. So I've always despised the Irish.
Yeah, and I'm not even necessarily saying that of the mindset. Like Miami didn't do what they need to do, but at the time, since apparently if you beat Penn State, it still counted for Oregon because they were good at the time. But when Miami played Louisville and SMU, they were actually ranked in things. Those don't count. But Miami didn't take care of business for sure. And they shot themselves in the foot. 4 interceptions, a ton of penalties, just sloppy football. Right. My thing with the College Football Playoff Committee isn't so much it just happens to be applying to Miami, which is making me mad, is whatever you're doing, do it consistently, right? If you have rules, then follow them and be consistent in your explanations. I didn't cry at all last year. I was pissed at my team for being one of the first 2 teams out, right? Because we didn't have a big win, and we blew it against Syracuse and Georgia Tech.
Right.
And there wasn't, I mean, I'm sure there's always criers and everything, right? Every fan base has their thing, but I don't think there was probably a perception of a wide crying going on for Miami, because we all knew we had no defense and shot ourselves in the foot, right? Despite having Cam Ward.
Right.
So when it comes to this year, I was kind of like, hey, we've lost 2 games and we're probably going to be out and we'll see what happens and all these other things. But then we started getting into this thing where I was paying attention actually to national media more, where they were focused on the head-to-head thing in a way that I really wasn't, even because I was still in the zone of why are we, we did this to ourselves. And then the inconsistency starts coming out, right? So all I want is the College Football Playoff Committee to apply their rules consistently and for them to at least be aware of the conversation that's going on. Like, I think Alabama has more of a right to be ahead of Notre Dame than Notre Dame does, right?
No, I'm
But
with you. Hey, real quick, Iowa lining up to try to win the game against Sparty as time expires. They called the timeout. Call the timeout. Of course they did. That'll happen.
Yeah, I'm
And
looking
then
over to the
Oregon,
left. I have some
third
other
down.
games on, so I'm not listening to you. I'm trying to catch. I'm paying attention probably more to K-State and Utah, as well as USC, Oregon.
Oh yeah. So what happened? Because I saw that K-State was leading earlier.
It's going back and forth.
Because that impacts you guys a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it does. It's just into the fourth quarter. The defenses for both teams are now found on the missing side of a milk carton because they're non-existent. It's 38-35. It's been back and forth. I think the biggest lead, K-State was up 31-21 at one point. This game is at Utah. Utah was a 17.5-point favorite, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're big favorites. Okay,
Yeah,
Iowa lining up for the potential game winner. Kicking it's up. It's online. It's Sparty again. Sparty no. Sparty goes down. Iowa
They're having
wins.
a brutal year with that, right?
3-8.
Do you think he survives? Even
Yes,
though it's
because
very.
who are you gonna? Okay, 2 things. One, who are you gonna hire at this point?
That's
If
true.
you're Michigan
You're like
State.
13th on the list of
In the
teams.
pecking order. And 2, it's only year 2. So to me, you pick a scapegoat. The scapegoat is usually a coordinator.
Right.
And it's either Joe Rossi, potentially, because he was really bad. Although the defense has gotten better as the year went on.
For sure.
And their offense has kind of gotten worse. So I think you could pick either coordinator, fire them, and give him a 3rd year with the idea that it's a little bit of a fresh start on whichever side of the ball you sell. You got to sell to your fan base that one side's going to be better with somebody coming back, and one side's going to be better because it gets a fresh start.
I mean,
because I think you have to do that, but I don't think you fire Jonathan Smith after 2 years. This is what Sparty always does. They did it with Mark D'Antonio. He had 2 bad years, and they were like, "Hey man, there's the door." And it's like, really? That guy made a 4-team college football playoff and won the Big Ten outright.
well, there are a lot of teams that are, and maybe Michigan State is too early to say that they're doing this, but there are definitely several teams doing the Billy Napier plan, right? Where you don't fire them and you say we're going to pour more resources into them. Right now,
Wisconsin with Luke Fickell and
we
Maryland
got
with
Wisconsin with Luke Fickell. We got Wisconsin. We now can add Baylor with Dave Aranda to that mix. In theory, you might still have that. It's a longer term. It's a different situation because of the buyout. You might have that ongoing with Kentucky and Mark Stoops, who got get themselves killed today by Vanderbilt. There's probably a couple of others out there. You notice that the SEC is no longer following that model, right? They all watched and saw what Florida did. If Florida winds up not winning out on the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes, and especially if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, the fact that they didn't act last year and did that plan is probably going to cost their athletic director his job because they don't have a backup plan. So it's super interesting. I mean, this season has just been, we talked the last time. I mean, we talk every once in a while online, but last time we spoke live, this season's been crazy, right? Like
crazy.
Individual teams aside, it's been crazy. The entire offseason has moved into the season on top of it just to make it all completely nuts. the G5 are figuring out, it's like battle of the, survival of the fittest, though Tulane is taking care of business at Temple up 21, as that's on my screen as well, which will
Yes.
keep them in the rankings for Tuesday as well, even though nothing's guaranteed until they get to the American conference. I didn't see the latest on JMU, but the season's just been
Question
nuts, right?
is where Summerall end up? Maybe he ends up at Florida now at this point.
Well, he was supposed to be there on. The rumor was there was going to be an interview on Thursday, and then like an hour after it came out, they said it wasn't happening. I'm guessing that he's Auburn or Ole Miss or LSU bound, depending upon how all the sweepstakes goes. I think that
Right.
Auburn wants him.
Yeah,
I
but I
think
feel
Ole Miss
like
is
if you
interested.
have Florida, you don't want to go to Auburn. If you can go to Florida, do you?
Yeah.
Auburn's
don't
little
think-
brother in a way that Florida isn't.
Yeah, but Auburn's little brother, but it's closer to where he's like gone up and been part of. And Florida at least is, it's not little brother, but it's like three brothers at different times, one of them stronger, right? So you're always
Yep.
having to compete, and then everybody else's cousins coming into your state anyway.
Right.
So I really think it depends ultimately. Oh, Oregon, another flag there as
As they get a
Yeah.
first down, though, another first down.
as they're driving again. USC just can't seem to keep that momentum going.
No. Well, they threw, Maiyava, after being so good most of the year, he threw two bad picks in this game.
Yeah, he did.
And it's like that's the difference in the game right now, in a one-score game, is those two picks.
Yeah, and as a Miami fan, I can't even decide what I think is there was a moment, Miami played. It was one of the worst officiated games I can remember in a while. But so Miami played fine, but didn't put on glory points. They won by 17, but it could have been worse, and it almost wasn't worse. So at one point I thought, hey, maybe if I was a Miami fan, I want to root for SC because Oregon would most teams have been falling 5 to 8 spots if they lose, and USC would certainly jump up, but I didn't know if they would jump up ahead. But then when Miami just looked, they basically covered, like they were a half point off of covering, so it was just like meeting expectations. I wasn't as sure, but it doesn't seem that's going to be a concern as touchdown Oregon. They just scored Noah Washington.
Whittington, right?
I thought it was. I just looked on the screen.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Looks like it was Noah
My
Washington.
thing sometimes does a slow up thing, so mine did not get there yet. But yeah, I'm sure you're right.
Either way, they scored.
Regardless, they scored, and that puts
they've
USC in a
scored.
tough spot.
Yeah, so USC is pending the extra point, going to be down 15.
Yeah,
with
because
5.5 to
USC
go.
inexplicably decided to go for 2 when they scored to make it a one-score game,
Yeah,
which I don't really understand that kind of logic.
I mean,
doesn't add up for me.
8D chess. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
It's, Lincoln Riley's always, my issue with Lincoln Riley is it's not enough for him to win the game. He needs to look like a genius while he does it. And that's his obsession. Like when he was playing against Notre Dame and he had them, and he ran a double reverse wide receiver pass in a monsoon. He ran, and then the wide receiver fumbled it. Notre Dame recovered it. And that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, and look, because everything's so.
You're right, Washington.
Everything is so interconnected, right? You can make an
it was
argument.
Whittington. I was right. Okay.
Oh, it was? Then they had the wrong
doesn't matter.
graphic up. I saw
I'm sure they
Washington
did.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, everything's interconnected. Even in the Notre Dame conversation, which I started, and then I took us on a detour. SC losing hurts Notre Dame. Right?
Yeah.
It hurts. It brings their biggest win. Brings their biggest win down. So there's, I know there are all the people who are really worried about the regular season being diminished by the college football playoff. Like I just haven't found that myself.
It's
I
been
find more
enhanced
teams
with a 12-team playoff for
yeah,
sure.
I find more teams involved. Personally, I think it's been great, and it's enhanced me paying attention to more leagues, more schools. Like I know way more about other leagues and teams than I ever did 2 years ago. Right?
Yeah, the 4-team playoff was such a boring baton death march. and they wanted you to be interested in, everything was decided more or less outside of the like one or two things, and they wanted you to be interested anyway, even though 99% of the country was shut out of it. And it's like now we have a playoff where there are, a couple dozen teams and a rotating cast of teams that are either in the playoff hunt or have impact on the playoff hunt.
Right. While we were talking, Kansas State just kicked another field goal, so they're up 41-35 at Utah with 8:50 to go.
Interesting. That's interesting.
To pull that back to the Notre Dame conversation that took us away, so in a perfect world, you wouldn't even have to worry about this, right? Miami and Notre Dame could both find a spot, and maybe they both ultimately do, and that's fine. I think the issue that a lot of us have is, I know what the college football playoff rankings criteria are, right? I wish they just said, here's the 5 things we do. Each of them are weighted this way, right? And whatever, 40% is our opinion, right? Then I can at least understand what it is, and then we can sit there and go, all right, well, head-to-head happens here. And I understand how it goes. Like, they look at your record, they look at head-to-head, they look at comparable opponents, right? They look at things of what would happen in the future in the playoff, the FSU rule, if you lost your quarterback, or you lost your coach, who's your play caller, right? Potentially for an Ole Miss. The metrics aren't clear. I don't know why they don't just tell us, here are the metrics. Here's what we actually use. Here's a formula we use. It's not like it's the formula for Coke, and they got to keep it away from Pepsi. There's not another competing college football league in the world that does this. So why don't you give us some degree of transparency, even if you still say 30 to 40% or 50% is the opinions of the experts in the room, then we can at least question you on that, but we're not wondering stuff. Because what you wind up having, right, if Miami has a better win, but they now have better losses, which also probably applies to Utah. Like, Utah's got 2 top 11 losses, even though one of them was a blowout by 24, and Miami's 2 losses to worse teams were a combined 6. But you have all these metrics discrepancies, right? Like, Notre Dame FPI is 5, Miami 17, so they're higher, but that will come back. They'll be a little bit closer probably after this week because of who they played. But Notre Dame's definitely there. Strength of schedule, Notre Dame's ahead of Miami, but just a little bit. But between today and next week,
it's not meaningful. It's not a meaningful
It's actually, they don't actually say, well, you're 29 and you're 36. They're like, here's a tier of 10. Here's a tier of 10.
And you both have 2 losses, and you beat them head-to-head.
And there is no recency bias in the criteria. If you want to put that in,
because all the games matter. They either all matter or they don't. None of them matter. So the reason they don't give us criteria, Rock, is because then they wouldn't be able to treat it like an invitational, because it's not a playoff. It's an invitational, and they want to have the brand bias, and they want to shoehorn, they want to shoehorn Notre Dame in the playoff every year if they can. Right. And it's a farce.
And BYU has a very valid complaint too, because they only have one loss, right?
Yes.
Granted, their loss was a better loss than one of Notre Dame's losses, not the other, right? Texas Tech is ranked number 5. So to give BYU credit, and BYU's FPI is 14, right? So we're talking about FPI of, there's like whatever ones you want to use. Strength of record is another example. Notre Dame's 12, BYU is 6, Utah is 18, Miami's 16. We're not talking the difference between like 4 and 133 or 4 and 74. So they have a valid complaint. Alabama has a valid complaint. The other thing, though, is I wish that the College Football Playoff Committee, and their charge is only to rank the top 25, right? That's what they're supposed to do.
You want to rank the top 50?
I wanted to rank the top 30 at least, like, because it would be super. AP poll, we look, and there's, they're not exactly, but the AP poll is fairly close most of the time to what we get, right? Especially after the first one comes out. We have an idea that, like, SMU is in others receive, or actually SMU is number 25. So we'd be curious to see how far away was SMU prior to today from being a quote-unquote good win again, or even a good loss, right? Because if they get ranked and all of a sudden they're there, Alabama has 4 good, supposed good wins, right? But that includes Missouri.
Whoa, USC, amazing pass. 4th down,
saw that.
Rolling to his left, throw it across his body, lollipop up in the air. And the wide receiver,
And wide receiver had to turn inside on that, or heading outside to make.
I mean,
that
was
play.
a prayer. That was a backyard football play.
That was a backyard. This could be they may not be able to come back, but they could have a backdoor cover for those of you who are betting this. I think the line was like 9.5, give or take,
right? Yeah.
on this one. So at least we just have the consistency as we watch these games come to fruition, because then at least we can argue about the same kind of things, right? Notre Dame fans are talking about, and look, I am sure that if it was your team or if it's my team, you're going to argue the thing that's going to work for you. So I acknowledge that as well.
Of course.
But today is why I have gone nuclear on Notre Dame fans, even if I understand. And here, I'll give you a very
Rock's
specific
been going hard
reason.
on Twitter. You should also follow him on Twitter.
I tend not to be as hard as I've been, but it's just been pretty disgusting and arrogant and all the things I despise about Notre Dame as a fan base. Or at least the people that are the loudest on there.
Right.
Today was a great example. Today they were all dunking on Miami because there was a last-second touchdown by Malachi Toney, who is baby Jesus for a reason.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's amazing. And that made it to be a 17-point game again. Miami got a little bit sloppy at the end. The refs had some really terrible calls on both sides. It was just
which is still a 3-score conference win.
It's still a 3-score conference win in what is a rivalry on the road. Fine, whatever. But that said, Virginia Tech is now 3-8 on the year, right? They fired their coach.
Yep.
But mine was 17.5-point favorite, wound up winning by 17. So that met expectations. Notre Dame fans are all over Miami dunking on that, right? As they continue the online war for whatever degree it does.
Because they're playing a team that gave up.
They played a team that gave up, but they forget the following stats, which are they were a 30-point favorite on the road at Boston College about 3 weeks ago.
They
were only up 5 at halftime, and they won that game by 15.
Yeah.
Boston College is in last place in the ACC.
Right.
So it's totally fine that they didn't cover by 15 points on the road to the worst placed team in the ACC, but now today they're dunking on Miami for missing it by a half on the road. Right?
Ridiculous.
So the intellectual inconsistency is crazy. The other great stat is that juggernaut of a schedule that Notre Dame played, which basically was your first 2 games are juggernauts. You have one good game in the middle. That is going to be to the soon-to-be former 15th team, as Kansas State just scored another touchdown. It's now 47-35, 7 minutes to go. I didn't see how they did it.
Okay.
So Utah's in trouble.
Yeah.
Utah is very much in trouble.
Yeah, they are.
But Notre Dame has, and I can't remember which conference they didn't beat somebody in, but Notre Dame's 3 of their wins are against the last place team of 3 different Power 4 conferences.
Yeah, I know. It's a joke. Their schedule's a joke.
So, when it comes to it, at some point, head-to-head has to matter. I don't know if they're going to get on a tier, right? The way the process is supposed to work is they come into the room, they have each one has their teams, and they evaluate it in groups of 4, right? So that's where they keep alluding to that Miami's getting closer. But if Utah drops out, that's why I think it might be good for Miami if Oregon wins ultimately, because Oregon's a floor underneath Notre Dame potentially,
Right.
and Notre Dame's strength of record and schedule is going to go down because USC loses. So that if Oregon had lost, then Miami could have moved up, but Notre Dame would have also moved up. So they probably would have still been the same amount of excuses away from being compared. So I don't even have a problem that they do them in groups of 4, but they have to remember that the reason they're in certain groups is because they put them there, even if they're following the rules. But I think BYU's got a lot of complaint too, right? When it comes down to it, I don't want to completely look at things with eyes. I have been one of the harder critics of Mario Cristobal generally, so I don't just look at my team as being good. I've had 20 years of an average of 7-5, so I try to be fairly real about it. Another reason why we probably moved this show from its origin story of being on a Miami channel to a national channel, so my co-channel host and the originator of this show, Miami Flow, wouldn't get in trouble from his contacts in the Miami program, give a little bit of distance and say it wasn't my fault. But that's kind of the state of it. Ultimately, there's still zones here where it doesn't matter, right? Definitely things can still happen here with what the remainder of the games tonight, what might happen next week. Ole Miss with their chaos, if they lose to Mississippi State, and Mississippi State has been a very improved team, they've had 2 or 3 heartbreakers that could have completely changed their season, but they played teams tough. What are they doing? Are they doing 8D chess? Is Lane, part of me is like sitting there going, there's no way that he's staying at Ole Miss, because why would you have this hanging out over the Egg Bowl?
Right.
But the flip side might be you're messing with 2 other teams in your conference's head, and that would be a link. If it was anybody else, I'd say
it'd be a
no way
link
he's
given thing to
coming.
do. Yeah, to be
Right.
like, to like tell his AD, I'm signing with you, but I'm going to drag this out in the public.
But if you're trying to do that, though, and then somehow, but your players don't know, and the vibe's weird, and you wind up losing it, they have one good win. They have one good win. They have a couple of good losses, and that apparently matters, right? They would have a couple of good losses, or one good loss or one okay loss, right? Big rivalry games count less as a bad loss. And you wind up, they could fall out of the playoff too.
Right.
It's not out of the question. Ole Miss is up high, but if the average fall has been 5 to 8, and you lose to an unranked team, and your coach is leaving, you could fall out too. So I just think that's risky for them to, hey, we're going to re-up him. Or maybe he literally doesn't know and they just put a drop dead day on it, in which case this is the weirdest college football coaching carousel we've ever seen, punctuated by the strangest story we've ever seen, magnifying that college football is broken on its calendar.
Oh, the calendar is more than broken. But the problem is, as long as it's married to an academic calendar, it's not going to be what you need it to be. There's no solution as long as the players are actually going to class.
Oh, there is sort of a solution, but the solution isn't the one anybody wants, right? Which is that you could have just had, if you wanted to move to one portal, you could do it at the end of spring, right? But then you miss the benefit of getting the players into your spring practices, and you risk losing a ton of people after spring practice because they find out where they are on the depth chart, or you got a lot of people we all know what the problems are. We don't know what the answer is. I don't think Lincoln Riley has an answer on how to come back from 15 with 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
No, and he just turned the ball over again on 4th down. So, Oregon just got the ball back. So, yeah, I think Oregon is going to win. We can assume by that. Good for Oregon. It's a big win. I give them a lot of credit. They are great defensively. They have amazing defensive ends. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball, even without their best receivers, with them hurt. They can still throw it around a little bit. And Dante Moore, man, I saw him up close against my Gophers. He's really good. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback. He's not the best quarterback in the country, but he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
For sure. He is starting to pop up on he's been on the draft radar for sure, but I don't remember who I saw most recently where he was rated the number 1 quarterback in the upcoming draft. I don't know how you do that over the year that Mendoza's had.
Mendoza's been unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable. I did not expect it. I thought it would be good from, because I saw him at Cal, and a lot of Miami guys are familiar with him from like the recruiting history. But
he's been better than Curtis Rourke was.
He's been way better. I mean, next level,
better.
Right?
Yeah, and
next level.
The only one who's had a high the way he evaluates talent, man. The way Signetti evaluates talent is like nobody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Tulane's about to close their victory, so they will keep themselves in the catbird seat for the American, though the American Conference, which is most likely, let me see what happened with JMU, is most likely where the G5 bid's coming from. Right. Heading into today, there was a 4-way tie for teams with one loss, and a couple of teams with 2 that still had like a 1% chance. But none of those 4 teams were playing each other in the last 2 weeks.
Of course.
And though they actually have the most sane tiebreaker, their tiebreaker is, their second tiebreaker is, if it's more than one team involved, is literally who's highest ranked in the college football playoff, if somebody is.
Sure.
So Tulane being there, if there were to go into some weird 3 or 4 team tiebreaker where head-to-head couldn't do it, before they get to the crazy ones of shared opponents or winning percentage,
it's just ranking in the college football playoff.
They just look to see what the rankings are. I don't know if they have a backup ranking they would do if none of their teams were there, but in theory, Tulane would win that tiebreaker to get to the game. If necessary. I don't know how they would. Then I guess maybe that removes them and they continue down with the next 3. we shall see.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. Do you have, as long as I have here, do you have strong Heisman thoughts? Because I'm kind of at the point where I feel like whoever wins the Big Ten title between Julian Sayin and Fernando Mendoza is going to win the Heisman, is what it feels like to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
What does it look like
for
from
my
where you're sitting?
non-Big Ten focus, but familiar, because obviously I do stuff with the college football mafia and Moen too, who's an Ohio State guy. I don't have as much view to Ohio. I watch Ohio State, but they're not as present, right? They just like continue to roll. They haven't had very big games.
Yeah, they've just been crushing people.
They've just been crushing people, and they've kind of had not because it looked like this back in August, but games that were supposed to be big turned out not to be big.
Yep.
And they just have rolled. So I think in the national consciousness, it's Mendoza to me, because he also had the drive, right? There hasn't
Right.
And saying that's a positive for Ohio State, right? They haven't had to do that.
Right.
And he had the drive against a team that maybe this year they shouldn't have to do it, but it's still hard to go to State College, right? Like, it's still State College.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Penn State has played a lot better the last few weeks.
And they've played a lot better the last few weeks, for sure.
They played well against Indiana, and they nearly won, and then they crushed Sparty last week, and now they're beating Nebraska right now. They actually just went up 7-0. So
to me, it's Mendoza is the one that just, I think, creeped into everybody's consciousness. And, and I think when you think about how large, for worse, the Heisman voter pool is, and how little they probably are completely paying attention to everything, I think that just permeates more. Maybe they're like, they think about this from the sense of, his status, senior going into the NFL draft versus a freshman, redshirt freshman, what have you.
Right.
I think it's him. That's just my take, because the Big Ten has had some really great games, and if you're a Big Ten fan, but it hasn't been like the game of the week for the most part, except for
you're right.
Week one with Texas, Ohio State, certainly the Oregon, Indiana game, right, where everybody who was a doubter of Indiana got wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
right.
Which is wild. Yeah.
The Penn State. Nobody was watching Penn State, Indiana in the first quarter, right?
But as the game went on,
everybody was watching by the fourth quarter, because you're like, how is this happening?
You're right.
So
that's a good point.
That's kind of how I see it, as someone who's not in the Big Ten minutia every single day, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And I wonder if that becomes sort of the world of the Heisman voters, who probably, in all fairness, definitely pay less attention to all of these teams more than you and I or anyone who's in the chat or anyone who's going to watch this later on demand or whatever clip you might do. So,
yeah, very cool. No, I think that's a good point. Do you think there's anybody else that could sneak in and win it at this point, or do you think it's for sure Mendoza?
I think it's Mendoza. I think it's saying, I don't think anyone on I guess it's more of a question of who else do we think gets an invite. Right.
Who makes it to New York potentially? And I just don't know. I don't have a good feel for that this year. It seems like a lot of guys have had really good years, but it hasn't been just like a clear crop of these are the guys.
Yeah, even does Jeremiah Smith go just on pure? Of course, like Jeremiah Smith can go, right? And he's got he's had a relatively down year. He's had a relatively down year, but only compared to his freshman year, and only because he was breaking in a new quarterback, right? Which is sort of something you could predict. But he's still been ridiculous, right? He's still the best player in college football.
And teams are doubling and tripling him, and he's still doing what he's doing.
So he's opening up the offense, and I've had a really good view to how that can work again when you get somebody that good. And Ohio State's been fortunate to always have, over the last 15 or 20 years,
Ryan Day, Since Ryan Day,
receivers.
It's been nothing but wide receivers,
But I've watched Miami. Pitt just went up 7-0 on Georgia Tech.
Okay, that's interesting if Georgia Tech would stumble. The funniest would be if Pitt somehow beat Georgia Tech and then Georgia Tech beat Georgia.
Yeah, well, I mean, look.
That would be the funniest for me.
As a Miami fan, Pitt beating Georgia Tech is everything. Because I haven't really been looking at the ACC race, because it literally was like an 18 parlay to get there once the last things have happened. But if Pitt beats Georgia Tech, then everything's nutso for next week. But look, I think that, I think Jeremiah can go, even just for recognition what he does. But yes, what I was going to say is he's opened up that offense so much, and I've seen it happen because of what has happened with Malachi Tony is people have doubled up on him. It has let other players on Miami get wide open constantly. So then he still gets open. And that's what Jeremiah Smith's been doing. And even getting past like the first couple of games when they're breaking in Julian Sayin, who's now just on fire. I could see him going. Who the fourth one is, I don't know. I mean, you could say Dante could go, right? I don't think there's an A&M guy. I'm just trying to think of who's at the top of the
and
the
then
pecking order.
Is there SEC guy, I guess, is the question. Is there like somebody from the SEC who obviously has to go, and I don't know.
No, I mean, you can make an argument for Ty Simpson, but they did lose again.
They did lose that Oklahoma game, which
it
was a weird game. They had way more yards than Oklahoma. That was a strange game.
Yeah, I mean, their running game just disappeared, but that's not really him. Like, that's why it's been so much on him. I mean, you can make an argument for that. I don't think you're going to see a defensive player get an invite. Maybe,
I don't think
maybe
so
you get, a third person from Ohio State, right? But that's not going to happen in terms of like getting a safety to show up alongside Julian Sayin and or Jeremiah Smith. But I wouldn't be surprised if two Ohio State guys get there alongside Mendoza, and
that could split the vote though and make it easier for Mendoza.
It very well could. That happened. Actually, it didn't happen. It happened there.
I mean, they won though. They both still won.
Well, I was trying to think of others. Like Ken Dorsey and Willis McGahee went at the same time way back when in like the early 2000s. But if I recall, their combined votes didn't get them to. They split votes, but they combined still wouldn't have won. I'm sure there's a couple of other instances like that. Let's see, Utah.
Yeah, man.
47-37. They're 3rd and 22 at the K-State 46 with 3.5 to go, and I don't think they converted it, but I think it's gonna be 4th and 1 for Utah down 10.
So things are gonna kind of go in Miami's way today so far, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. Yeah, it would have been nice for Missouri to win,
right?
Just like it would have been nice for Alabama to win last week.
Yeah.
Again, for me, it's easier to imagine the path of the at-large side versus the ACC side. But if Pitt were to come back and win, then there's only 4. Then it's a 14 parlay or something, like 5-team over this week and the rest of next week. BYU's got to play at Cincinnati in 30 minutes,
been very good.
Cincinnati's been very good. They've had a couple of moments, but BYU's been stronger as the season closed.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to go to see what happens. And in all of these things where the tiebreakers are going weird, Stanford Cal matters because if it's a 3 or 4-way tie in the ACC, strength of record in terms of conference opponents comes into some of the tiebreakers as you go down. Like the Big Ten is like the clean conference, right? SEC is a mess in the sense of Georgia could easily not make it to the SEC championship game, but still get a bye in the college football playoffs, which is either great for them or bad for them, right? They'll have 3 weeks off.
That's a long time to not play football.
That's a long time to not play football.
Like, you can get healthy, but are you rusty then at that point?
Right, because you're there's the you're
That's
not playing the
like
championship
a training
game.
camp. 2 weeks is a bye week. 3 weeks is a training camp.
You need to have a legit scrimmage on your own team and try to avoid injury to make that not happen.
Yeah, no, I agree with you entirely.
Man, SEC final, huh? 42-27. So think of Oregon. Well, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Oregon at number 7, 10-1.
Yes.
Goes to Washington next week.
Mm-hmm.
At Washington. Washington's what, like 7-3 on the season? They're about to play UCLA.
Yeah, I think they might be 6-4, but I'd have to double check. 7-3, 6-4, something like that.
And that's always a big rivalry game, right?
Yes.
It's a huge game. What happens to Oregon, who now has a good-ish win, right?
Right.
It's not a great win, but it's not a bad win. They're going to have a top 25 win, right?
No, Washington is 7-3. You're right. So that is
right. So if Washington,
so that's a decent win too. Yeah,
Washington could be 8-3 heading in, right?
Yeah.
Which means since we don't know what the hell the College Football Playoff Committee does at 26, we don't know where Washington currently stands. For all we know, they were 26th last week, and with a loss here and a win there, do they move up into a quote unquote ranking. But let's just say that Washington's number 25 heading into that game, or just outside. If they beat Oregon, and it's not like by 7, a touchdown or something, is Oregon out?
I think it's tough for Oregon. I think they just didn't have the toughest schedule this year in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Their
But
draw
the flip side
was more favorable than most. So I think that becomes problematic if they lose to Washington.
But that's their strength of schedule, which will get better today, even though they beat USC because they add it.
Right.
And heading into today, their FPI was 3. Again, and this isn't defending any of that crap, right? This is just this is what it is. We don't know which one the committee uses, but it's safe to assume it's probably somewhat relatively close to whatever the ESPN one we all love or hate, depending upon your point of view, is.
Yeah.
And their strength of record heading in today was 7.
I definitely like to hate on FPI, but yeah, that's a really good point. If Oregon is ranked that high, maybe they do slip in still but maybe they do still slip in if they lose. But as dominant as they are in the line of scrimmage, I think so much of Damon Williams for Washington is about being able to break, contain, and create. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to break, contain, and create a bunch against Oregon. So, I agree. If Washington somehow wins, then that does, that brings up an interesting point with Oregon. I just don't think it's going to happen.
All right. Well, we were talking Utah scored, so it's 47-44. They just kicked off to Kansas State. They kicked away. They didn't try for an onside kick. They have their 3 timeouts. K-State's got 1. And they have the ball at their 25 with 2:47 to go.
Awesome.
So there's, so much on the line here for Utah. Their entire season is on the line on this drive.
The whole thing. Do you want to end it, Rock, or do you want to see if Utah wins?
I'm happy to do whatever you want to do. If you want to chop it up, or if you want to sign off. I know you've been on for 3 hours. That's totally cool. I appreciate getting to come on and
dude, I think
paying back all the favors over. So happy to do whatever you want to do.
I think I will step off and watch it offline, but I will definitely message you about that because that's big. I will cheer for you. Hopefully, K-State holds on.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
all
make
right,
sure all you guys hit that like.
Thanks so much for coming on the live stream and everything.
Hit this guy's like button. This channel deserves a lot more love from everybody. So definitely give him a like and subscribe, and we'll try to send some more people over as well. It's always great talking to you, Mike.
All right, thanks a lot, Rock, and good luck as the playoff continues to take shape over the next week and a half or so.
Absolutely. I don't want to be eating Pop-Tarts, but maybe we will be. We'll see.
All right.
Be good, man.
Take her easy.
Bye.
All right, well, thanks to Rock, and thanks to everyone who came and watched. I really appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream now. Oregon wins. It looks like Oregon is on pace to be a top, be the 5th or 6th team in the college football playoff if they beat Washington next week. So that's a big deal. I hope everyone had a good time, and this helped me get some of my frustration out after a tough day. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the review pod. It's going to be frustrating to record, but we'll see you in the review pod on Monday. Take it easy.